cover story and a solo shot from Jarren Duran last night in an 8-5 win in Minnesota. Lucas Giolito went 6 strong innings for the win, and the Sox will wrap up their 3-game series at Target Field this afternoon. Brian Bayo will get the start. The Major League Baseball trade deadline is tomorrow. The Pittsburgh Post-Gazette is reporting the Red Sox are one of a handful of teams that have been in touch with the Pirates about starting pitcher Mitch Keller. As for the Patriots, they went through another padded practice yesterday in the heat in Foxborough. Mass Live confirmed an earlier Fox Sports report, which indicated Christian Gonzalez suffered a hamstring injury on Monday that is not considered serious. He was on the field in street clothes briefly yesterday, and all of this meant that Alex Austin got some run with the top defense.
Physical game we play, so, all it means is just next man up, got to be ready, step into that role, and, standard is the standard, so keep a hold of the standard and, play ball.
Starting offensive linemen Morgan Moses and Garrett Bradbury were both unable to finish practice yesterday. The team will go again later this morning. In other NFL news, Cincinnati holdout edge rusher Trey Hendrickson will reportedly arrive at Bengals camp this morning without a new deal. And finally, the Jets have signed former Patriots kicker Nick Folk. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Catches Law. At Catches, they specialize in helping those who have been injured not only from a one-time incident, but from a lifetime of hard work and labor. Does this sound like you? Visit catcheslaw.com. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 6:30.
New England plays here.
Ball down the right side, there's a separation. Yes. Touchdown pass. Yes. Perfect dive from Drake May.
98.5 The Sports Hub.
Ladies and gentlemen, I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Toucher
They love the show. In fact, they said, Fred, you're the best.
and Hardy
Who's Taylor the originator?
on 98.5.
Hello.
Hey there.
Aloha.
Bonjour.
How we do?
What? I'm an animal.
Can we use this for the radio? No, Nick, with your drinking at noon on Monday.
Well, I tell her the truth. I'm just booty.
That problem is too large for the starch.
You know how I feel about clowns on morning shows?
And I'm just saying, hello.
Toucher and Hardy.
Watch Daddy and Uncle Freddie.
Knocking back
25 glasses of soda.
having some fun.
On 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Let's go.
Morning. We are Toucher and Hardy.
Right.
Yes. We are in the Town Fair Tire Studios. You can watch us on YouTube. Subscribe to 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube. 617-779-0985. A lot going on the show today.
Why?
Because it's just jam-packed. I was sharing this article with Hardy that is in the Boston Globe this morning. It says, is Mike Felger the most influential person in Boston? The dominant figure in local sports talk radio managed to capture and shape the mood of this fast-changing city. And that pleases me. It does. It makes me glad. A, because he works at this radio station, and B, it's radio. The radio, rising tide, rising tide raises all ships. I mean, this is, I'm glad this happened. June Lee says, when Marty Walsh was mayor and wanted to gut check Boston, he didn't turn to a political advisor or scroll through Twitter, sitting in traffic from Dorchester to City Hall. He turned the radio dial to hear how the city felt that day. When sports fans were pissed at the Patriots, it was rarely just about the Patriots. It reflected the city's mood on bike lanes, snow removal, and the T. Walsh needed that anger index the way mayors need snow totals. So he said, she says, to outsiders, it might sound absurd. In most cities, sports talk is drive time filler. In Boston, it's emotional infrastructure. And she goes on and on. Now, it says they're the highest rated show, which is not necessarily true. But I want to say something, though, that is not true in this. And it's sort of an insult to Felger and Maz, because it's not how things work. It says the show's ratings have slipped, down from 18.4 share last spring to a 12.2 this year. We had a 21. But nonetheless, among men 25 to 54, it's still quadruple the competition for WEEI, but listeners are increasingly turning into podcasts. Now, even if that's true, which I don't believe it is, that doesn't have anything to do with their share. The share that you get is the share of people listening to the radio. It's not the share of people consuming audio media. It's the share of people listening to the radio. So Felger's and Maz's, whatever it slipped to, and they're perfectly fine. And there was a lot of mitigating factors. The teams weren't as good and everything like that. But that's just, I mean, you gotta at least know that. Now, if you did a cumulative thing, where if they somehow figured out how many people were listening to the radio and they said less people are listening to the radio as a medium, then you could say people were listening to podcasts. But if you lose your share of radio listeners, those radio listeners have gone somewhere else. So, right, if they lose 6 points in the ratings, which again is not going to happen next spring, but if they lose 6 points in the ratings, those 6 points get dispersed to other radio stations. For someone who covers sports and media and someone who's involved in media, that's a fairly large error. Because if you're going to celebrate the medium of radio and how it is the temperature gauge of the city, and Felger's a big star, you can't say, oh, they lost share to podcasts, because that's not the metric that you would use to prove that. There's 100 points, and they all go to different radio stations. When you add up all the ratings, it adds to 100. So if you take 6 away from one station, those 6 go to other stations. They don't go to podcasts. Now, if there's a cumulative thing where they can figure out the amount of actual people listening to the radio, or they can approximate that, and that has gone down, then you could say people are listening to other stuff. But that is an unfair mischaracterization of what the ratings are in radio. So if fact checkers at the Boston Globe, I appreciate this. I really do. I'm very happy this article is in the paper, and I'm glad it's someone at the radio station, and I'm glad it's a radio person. You know, I'm glad they're not saying Haktua Girl is the pulse of the city. You know, or, you know, no offense, but that Everyday Maggie is the pulse of the city. You understand? Like, I'm like that it's someone that's doing a radio show. That even if it was a radio guy from another station, I would be happy about it. Especially that it's at this station, I'm very happy about it. I swear to God, I'm not narcissistic enough to go, oh, that should be me, or that should be John, or that should be Hardy. I am happy that this is happening. I couldn't be happier, as a matter of fact. There are errors in it, but some of that would just be being narcissistic. But the thing that does bother me is for the sake of radio, and it should bother everyone in radio when you read this. I don't care if you work at NPR, or if you work at EEI or anything, is that, again, if you lose 6.2 points in the ratings, which will not happen again, this is not reflective of Felger and Maz not being as good a show or people not caring about them as much. It's you know, they depend almost entirely on, they're the big sports show. So when the sports teams aren't as good, that's going to reflect in their ratings. But that did not go to podcasts. That went to other stations, which I actually think should be cleared up. And it's not too, I mean, the article just went up. So if they were asking me my opinion, they put a crown on him in the picture on there. He's the king. But that would be the one thing that I would clean up. Because he could be the most listened to. We could just have the highest share of ratings, but there is a way that Felger and Maz have more listeners. I don't know if that's the case or not. We have a higher share, but I don't even really care about that at all. I care about the idea that radio, because of that ratings dip, is somehow podcast responsibility, and that is not true. So, June Lee, if you are hearing this, or one of the high editors at the Globe that I'm sure tune in at 6 o'clock in the morning to get the pulse of the city.
Sure. You don't even have to get into like that much in depth about it. You can just delete that last sentence when they're talking about the show's ratings. You know, they were this, now they're this, and it's still, you know, quadrupled, you know, this. But the sentence that says, but listeners are increasingly tuning into podcast, Leave that out. It's got nothing to do with the conversation about those ratings in particular.
And it is just factually inaccurate. Like, that's not the way ratings work.
That's what I'm saying. It's got nothing to do with that previous information.
Right. And what I'm agreeing with you in adding that it is it is misinformation. Like, you've put and papers do that all the time. They have to make corrections. It just went up an hour ago. So if you're working for the Boston Globe, you take out that sentence.
Right.
You can leave the part about the ratings and that they're quadruple EEI. That's fine. But that particular number, you cannot say those went to podcasts because they didn't go to anything else but other radio stations.
Right.
So take that out, Globe.
Yeah.
In fact, a lot of our listeners comment on Globe articles because they're very old. And they like to yell at the newspaper. So if you could get in there and somehow say, hey, you liberal rag, you tool of the woke.
Well, the last time we talked about this is when the article about this show is in there. And the funniest comments are like, I don't listen to that stuff. I'm not even going to read this. Well, I'm going to comment on the story. Yeah.
Well, there's people that get up in the morning and they crack their knuckles, and the first thing they do is they get onto the paper to yell at the paper.
Yeah, time to comment on things in the paper that I A, say that I don't care about, and B, admit to not reading the article about. But I'm going to comment on the article.
Right. It's again, Globe articles I like. That's why we did a bit with them, because they're the funniest people because again, they're old people yelling at the newspaper. Right? A lot of people read the newspaper and then they're fine with having read that information. They might disagree with some of it and it kind of pisses them off. They might turn to a friend or a colleague or someone at the store and go, did you read that in the Globe? Like, I can't believe it. Some people just, they feel like they need to, they're a writer. All right, so this person, the first guy who commented is fairly prolific. He did a 450 this morning. Then on the 2nd of July, the 29th of June, the 26th of June, the 24th of June, the 2nd of June. He pops around a little bit. The gamut. They're not just sports commentators. They're just people that maybe they take the article that they first read.
Yeah.
And by the way, these are also people that subscribe to the Globe, because I don't think that you can comment on the Globe unless you're a subscriber.
I don't know.
It's a paywall. So I think you only get a couple free articles. So I would imagine you have to. And some of these are the regular Americans' profile is set to private. But yeah, Globe commentators are the best. They get on the paper and they need to let the people know. But when you're reading an article that's not about you, how often have you clicked on the comments?
0.
Yeah, 0. There's no time. It's only if it's about me, and I want to see what people say. That is true.
That's damn right. That's absolutely right.
Like 8.8 magnitude earthquake sends tsunami into coasts of Russia, Japan, and Alaska. Like I won't read I don't even know if I'll read that story, but I will certainly not read the comments. But I know why the comments are up there, because people engage and it keeps them involved. But when Chad Finn wrote the story about us, he was very kind. He sent us something that the Globe had given him that more people subscribed. They got more subscriptions from him posting that article than they had from anything else in that time period. So that was a nice thing for him to share. And you know how many people subscribed? 4. No, many. They're double digits, Jonathan.
Wow.
Double digits.
Just so you know, under the comments on the earthquake and tsunami, I did click on the comments.
Oh, no.
Already people are blaming Trump. Dr. Fauci should be in jail. It's a fact that the Trump administration hates science and is cutting funding to it.
Wait a second. But how is Fauci his problem? And no, seriously, Fauci, I know it has nothing to do with the earthquake, but how is Fauci, and I don't like Fauci either, but how is Fauci his problem?
Trump's problem?
Yeah.
He worked for Trump. He was...
yeah, but Trump tried to undercut him every way he could.
Look.
Now he's got a real man, and the dumps koala bears in Central Park.
If you cannot connect the dots between the 8.8 magnitude earthquake and the tsunami into the coast of Russia, Japan, and Hawaii, Trump and Fauci, then you shouldn't be commenting on. Just don't read the comments, Red, because you won't understand.
Well, I'm no
You
fan
won't
of
understand
Dr.
the
Fauci.
conversation.
I am no fan of Dr. Fauci, nor am I in the blind support of him. Just like I don't like blind support of anyone, and that falling into line and every actor and comedian going, finding the need to get into social media and telling you to listen to Dr. Fauci, when Dr. Fauci was not necessarily correct. In fact, was very, very wrong about a lot of things. And we are learning as completely damaged a generation. Speaking of the Globe, they had an article about how absenteeism is like 50% higher since COVID. The kids have just decided since COVID, we're not going to school.
Awesome.
So you know what could have prevented that? I don't know if you can connect the dots. Having them go to school during COVID. People warned of this. And everyone we have on with a podcast, they started them in COVID. Made people go to work. They wouldn't have started podcasts. And you would have saved yourself a lot of this aggravation. So it's everything you've done. Like, there are repercussions for mishandling it. That's all I'll say. I'm not making it up. The absentee levels, because there was this article about how to get kids back into school. I said, that's interesting. Kids aren't going to school. And they're like, yeah, like since COVID, like there's this massive amount of kids not going to school compared to pre-COVID times. So when they had kids not go to school for that insanely long period of time, it wasn't just hand-wringing and being, obstinate to say, hey, wait a second, guys. These kids aren't in a lot of danger, and the biggest danger to them is not going to school. That is the biggest danger. But then there'll be an article written about how there's AI schools coming out that they don't require a lot of interpersonal relationships, or just like the AI teaches you, and people are like, oh, that's terrible. And you say, well, you know how that started. COVID. When kids stopped going to school, they realized how much more productive they were at home. Like every other person who worked from home, they were so much more productive and they got so much more done. No, kids need to be around kids. People need to be around people. That's how communities form. Do you know what has happened in this country since everyone has just been just the only way they communicate is online anonymously? It's not good. People need to be physically around other people.
And now we got earthquakes.
Yeah. It all traces back to Trump.
Are you happy?
All of us. It all traces back
Aristotle has said as much.
Yeah.
Is that that we need to be around people. I can't give you the exact quote, but I saw it yesterday. So there you go. Now give me the Globe article about absenteeism. I have to comment on it.
Well, not all of us ended up in the booby hatch as a result of COVID, Fred. I know you've got a personal itch to scratch with this.
Also, I'm a little concerned about how kids aren't going to school and what that will mean, I don't know, 5 years from now, when there's a bunch of kids who never went to school that are out loose in the streets. That doesn't concern you at all?
Depends on what they're doing in the streets. If they're huddled around trash cans and singing some doo-wop and bringing some culture to the city.
That's
entertaining. I say, okay.
Get a free concert every day.
It's better than sitting in algebra class.
But based on my knowledge of sitting around the doo-wop thing from the movie that had Henry Winkler in it, they're also walking around trying to get side boob with their arms.
Yeah.
They're trying to get they're trying to hit boobs with their arms.
Elbow boob.
Yeah, and I don't like that. If you don't know Lords of Flatbush, that's a big scene in that.
Mm-hmm.
They go out to try to have their arms touch boobs, which is assault. So, yeah, far be it for me to equate kids not going to school starting in middle school, 9th grade, to them being not productive adults or not good members of society. But that's just me being crazy. We should just get rid of schools altogether. No one should leave the house. We should communicate only online and through avatars of Bill Belichick drinking orange juice. That's the only thing that we should do. All right, very good. So there you go. That is in the Globe. They need to correct that. If it's not corrected by the end of the day, I may sue them. So
you should at the very least comment.
Yeah, I don't know if I have the ability to. I can tell you I've never commented on a Globe article. I would have to figure that out, and I don't know if I have the savvy that the computer savvy that the people that comment on the articles have. And what if it's my real name? Then I won't be able to hide.
Yeah.
I'd have to create a whole new name and everything else. It could take the whole show, but maybe I will comment on it. I'll go.
That way you cover your bases.
Hey Lee. Make with the facts. You made a horrible error. Who's editing that rag? Fauci?
June's local. He's probably listening.
All right. Well, I would hope so because we are at least adjacent to the most influential person in Boston. I mean, he comes on the air here, and
we share, the same studio. Maybe
in 8 hours.
Yeah.
In 8 hours, he will be on these very airwaves, influencing maybe from Nantucket. All right, we will be back in just a moment. A whole slew of things that happened last evening.
I'm pretty sure you don't need to have your real name in the post just based on some of the other...
No, I know you don't, but I think probably I subscribe to the Globe. My name is the name attached to the account. So I would have to create a nom de plume for my thing,
Curious Party, Cool Beans, let's see, Lovable Liberal.
Oh, good.
Son of a Beach.
Hey, Fred, all sorts of ways for you to get creative with this thing.
Yeah.
Son of a beach, I get it.
Not real names.
Oh.
All right.
All right, yeah, so much happened last night. My God, I don't know that we'll have time to cover the Red Sox game and
the Red Sox
game.
Right.
But we'll try. We'll try and squeeze it all in.
Yeah, please do. I mean, there's a lot going on. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
Toucher and Hardy, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Installing a mailbox, planting a tree, or planning other yard work? Don't dig yourself into trouble.
flooding risk increases at night because that's when the freaks come out. You know?
Freaks come out at night.
Yeah, and they urinate in the street, which increases flooding. And then on Friday, it's supposed to, the rain will taper off. All right? So everyone calm the F down. The rain's going to taper off.
Fred, the weekend's looking beautiful. Sunny and a high of 76 on Saturday. Sunday, it's going to be 82 with more sun. You know, this heat's going to break. It's going to be delightful.
You know what I call Saturday? Menopause, baby.
What?
76. Post-menopause.
Okay. Because for a moment I thought you were under the impression that menopause somehow happens at age 76.
Nah, 76 is already done.
That's
when you put a loofah on the car.
Do you believe in male menopause? And that we all have cycles that we share? But
do you really want me to do it?
I really no. I don't want to hear about I don't want to hear the guy who wishes he had a womb guy. I just want to know.
That just is sympathetic to the cycles.
I understand, but men,
you just set me up for that.
You don't even have to be that guy. You don't have to be that guy.
Well, I mean, no. You don't
have to be that guy because guys.
Ask me the question again.
We all start in the womb as just this tiny thing.
I know.
And we all share these things, including a monthly cycle.
I know.
John, do you know that you have a monthly cycle?
I was unaware of that. No, I did not know that.
Did you know that your penis is essentially just an engorged clitoris?
No, I was unaware of that as well.
Do you notice?
Color me surprised.
Do you notice that once a month you get horrible diarrhea?
That's not. No,
now, John does. I can tell by his bathroom trips.
I know, but now you're trying to make some kind of plumbing connection that's not there.
I gave up telling you about that a long time ago.
If you sympathize enough with a woman, you get huge amounts of diarrhea.
Oh.
Okay,
and you become insufferable.
Okay, and you be shopping.
Yeah, I do that to my daughter all the time. Like she'll be like being like prickly, and I'll be like, "What's going on, Zoe? You having that time of the month?" And she loves it. She loves it. It's one of the great joys of my life.
It's a bonding moment.
I mean, she doesn't like it, but she knows what I'm doing, so it's actually kind of funny. She's just like, because she'll go, no. Oh, okay. You're busting my balls, and I'll be like, yeah, I understand, lady.
Let's catch up on the Red Sox here for a moment. I'm sure you guys covered it in depth on Monday when I wasn't here. The fact that they took 2 out of 3.
Yeah, we finally loosened up and got to be able to, because I was at the game on Sunday. We really got to break down play by play what was going on.
Nice. All right.
Yeah, you weren't around. John was leading this segment, so we dug into
the
nuts
got
and
into
bolts.
the nuts, exactly, the nitty gritty, so to speak. 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers. They opened up a set right away and to get on a plane, a little getaway day on Sunday from Fenway to go to Minnesota, where they lost the first game. We talked about it in a heroic fashion after a 90-minute rain delay in between the top and bottom of the 9th inning. So last night, how would they respond? Before we even get to it, though, did you know about the plane ride in?
I did.
Okay. I had not heard about this.
I had not heard about it.
Trevor Story spoke about it before at some point after game 1. Someone asked him about that. Hey, what happened with that plane ride?
It was awful, man. It was one of the worst. I mean, it probably the worst, flight that I've been on, turbulence-wise. And I don't get motion sick, but it was took everything in me not to let it out. But yeah, the boys were struggling, but like we said, we're embracing it. So we got games to play, and we're gonna come with our best.
You embraced the turbulence?
Or did you
embrace your fellow players after it landed? Be careful, because you could get caught.
You embraced
Christian Wilkins.
You embraced the struggle. Well, he's got issues, according to one of his former teammates now. You embraced the struggle, and even though they lost game 1 of the set, Sox rebounded. They're up 2-0 in the 3rd inning, and that same guy that we just heard, Trevor Story.
Swinging a high fly ball, left center field deep. Bader
left to center, conservative, playing liberal, but not so far left, not woke.
Yeah.
To the warning track, leaping up. He can't get this one. And Trevor Story.
Next time, gent. next time that might land in the old leather sack.
Bader robbed Abreu of a home run right before that.
Yeah, but you just got to expect that from Bader. I mean, Bader's pretty good.
He's a master.
Well, Bader, hey.
He's a master at fielding the
brought his
balls.
A game today. Look at you, huh?
Bader's hair is so similar to the bad white guy in Bad Boys, the Sean Penn vehicle. Harrison Bader has almost the exact hair of the guy who picks up the radio and it explodes on his shoulder.
Oh, the same guy who is in the Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah, but in Shawshank Redemption, he doesn't have the yellow whitey fro. But Harrison Bader, he's got. I don't know if it's still like that now, but he had almost the exact hairdo of the guy from Bad Boys with the who puts the booger in the food and everything else. He's not a nice guy in that movie.
Lofgren.
No, Lofgren.
That was.
Yeah, Lofgren. Lori Lofgren.
But Horowitz rigged up that radio in such a way.
Well, Horowitz, they just let him have all the electrical equipment he needed in his cell. Everyone was miserable and just with nothing to do, but Horowitz, they just gave a whole kit of explosive devices to make stuff.
That movie, though, I mean, Sean Penn, S.A. Morales, Clancy Brown, who played Lofgren, he went on to things. The Horowitz kid, we see all the Ali Sheedy plays Sean Penn's girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to the guy who played Tweety?
I don't know.
Now, Tweety was released, and then he ended up dying. We find out afterwards. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it.
Does Sean Penn get out at the end of that movie?
Yes, as I remember it, he does.
Okay.
Doesn't he fight like Esai Morales
he
in the
fights
streets at the end?
No. That's in prison.
That's in prison.
That's
okay.
in prison. And spoiler alert, he could have killed him, but he didn't. But he is not released. He does escape.
Yeah, well, I told you about their escape. Somehow Horowitz gets them to melt the fence.
Yeah,
and they just kick the fence in and then run down this huge field. You're going to get caught. And then everyone else in the prison, the only two authority figures there run after Sean Penn and Horowitz, and everyone else just stops at the gate. I would think, well, those two dudes run off. Maybe we all run off. 5 of us could get away. If there's 150 of us, maybe 5 could get away because we would all spread out and they can't find all of us. You know? If Horowitz is such a genius and he got them through the fence, all they did was kick down the fence. I mean, at least have a plan. I don't know, some kind of SpaceX situation where it can zoom you up and at least get you a few counties over.
Do you know how long it took them to get that fence dissolving material and then put it into the jar of rubber cement and then paint it? I mean,
I'm questioning the rubber cement, allowing prisoners to have that, a soldering gun. I'm questioning why a prisoner could have that.
Access to RC Cola cans because you put enough of them in a pillowcase and you can do some real damage.
Yeah, it's almost like the writer of that was there has to be a scene where Sean Penn rips the guy in the head with a pillowcase full of cans. I wonder if they show the RC Cola vending machines before that scene. They probably do as a...
so some foreshadowing.
Yeah, or just to let you know it's not out of the blue, you know?
It would be odd if the first time you see it is when he is putting together his weapon.
Plus, I'm not convinced that in prison you're allowed to hold even cash coins. It's usually a commissary where you sign out from a book, you have an account and you sign out for it. I mean, it seems to me if you allowed them to hold cash, even if it was quarters in prison, that could be traded for drugs and sex.
Well, Fred, I hate to break it to you, but this was 42 years ago.
Oof.
Wow.
How does that make you feel?
I mean, Horowitz is probably in his 50s now.
We could look it up, but let's finish up with the
60s.
Red Sox first. Okay, so that puts them up 4-0 later on.
Swinging a high drive out to right center. Watch this one fly. That is way back there.
Meet with the left center and let's get some things done.
Oh, okay. All right. That's coming together. Opposite political.
Yeah.
His 10th home run of the year. That caught the facade out there. Red Sox
Can we let down the facade and just be ourselves?
5-0. Their second home run tonight. He has had that tendency this year. When he hits it, man, do they go.
Yeah, those muscles aren't all just for show.
That's right.
No, they're to hit 10 home runs.
I was just going to say, the man has 10 homers. Jesus. The man had single-digit home runs, and we're almost in August.
I would argue they're mostly for show.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I mean, you could make a very solid argument that they're not for hitting home runs.
Yeah, they don't go anywhere.
Yeah, Duran has got, I will tell you how many at-bats he has to get his 10 home runs.
Fortunate. So many.
Yeah,
Got to be closing in on 500.
Yeah, he's got 433 at-bats and 10 home runs. I would argue that those muscles are almost entirely for show.
1 out of 40 times he's flexes them things.
Jesus.
Come on now.
I mean, there's what is there, like 50 some odd games left? I mean, he ain't hitting 20 home runs.
Well, so the Red Sox go on to get the win, 8-5 over the Twins. So another rubber match. Just like with the Dodgers series. Look at this. Sox have a chance to win a second straight series.
How about that?
What
will we do with ourselves?
Against the mighty Twins, too, who are trading players left and right.
Minnesota Twins.
Well, they're in a transition period.
You take a look at that lineup last night. My Lord, you should take 2 out of 3 from this team, regardless of how bad you are.
Well, yeah, they're not good. They're a bad team. Yes. I mean, that doesn't guarantee you win, certainly, but not a good team.
So Giolito had some control and location issues early on in that game.
Yes, but he still did very well.
Yeah.
6
Giolito
innings,
is a
1
good
run.
pitcher.
Yeah.
6 innings, 1 run. He did very well. I didn't really care for the signing. I thought it was one of those flyers. Oh, we'll take another injured guy and see what happens. He's been good this season.
Yeah, he's a good pitcher. Good pitcher. All right. Well, there you go. If you do the math, yes, he is not going to hit anywhere near 20 home runs. I guess if it tracks the way it's tracked, he's going to hit 11 home runs. Duran for the season. No, seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
he's good for 1 or 2
107,
more.
so that if you're 62, so they have 55 games left.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll hit 1 or 2 more home runs.
Oh, okay.
I'd like to say he's on pace for 13 home runs.
Ooh, but do you want 13? I'd rather have 12. I don't need that. I don't need that omen hanging over me. But if you trade him, then he'll get his 11th or 12th home run for someone else.
No, we don't want that.
Yeah, you gotta take that in stride.
We got to keep everybody together. It's
yeah,
very important.
well, and then you're always going to remember that Duran got his 11th home run
we didn't need that number 2 starter. We needed the 12th home run
in the Padres uniform.
Yes.
All right, so we'll be back in just a moment.
Sports Hub headlines presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Red Sox won in Minnesota last night, 8-5. Trevor Story and Jaron Duran both homered in the win. Sox will pitch Brian Bayo this afternoon in the finale of this 3-game series. Patriots held another padded practice yesterday morning in Foxborough. Christian Gonzalez not out there in pads, but he was present for a little while anyway. Mass Live and Fox Sports are both reporting it's a hamstring problem for Gonzalez. It's not believed to be serious. Holdout NFL sack leader Trey Hendrickson is expected to report to Cincinnati Bengals training camp today without a new deal. And one day after working him out, the New York Jets have brought back former Patriots kicker Nick Folk. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by the McGovern Automotive Group. McGovern and 98.5 The Sports Hub are giving away a brand new Ford F-150. For more info on how to enter, follow 98.5 The Sports Hub and McGovern Auto Group on Instagram. Complete rules and details at 985thesportshub.com. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7 o'clock.
Stay tuned for more Touch.
Toucher and Hardy. Wait.
What?
It says in this article by Felger, it says Felger's show isn't perfect. He has his stumbles, like when he called former Major League Baseball pitcher Roy Halladay a moron for piloting a stunt plane that had crashed, leaving the young children fatherless. Didn't it come out that Roy Halladay was
yes,
being extraordinarily irresponsible?
Yeah, he was on all kinds of pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, so I mean, hasn't history proved that? I mean, he's correct. I mean, the response. I mean, as a father, that makes it. I mean, he could have hurt a lot of people.
I remember talking to Felger about that as soon as it came out, I texted him because he really caught hell for that one, and it was some of his other commentary around it. You know, people thought it was insensitive and callous and all that stuff, but I said, hey. You were right. You could take a victory lap, and he's like, yeah, I wish I could, but I can't. But
no, you can't. You can't at that point.
The autopsy report revealed that his blood contained morphine, hydromorphone, amphetamine, an antidepressant, a muscle relaxant, and Ambien.
Yeah, so not overly responsible. He had quite a cocktail of drugs that could make flying a plane extraordinarily difficult.
According to forensic pathologist Burr Hartman, he had a drug combination similar to a speedball. He was impaired by these drugs. It was definitely not safe for him to fly an airplane.
Right.
And then, in addition, the NTSB released a report that said Halladay was executing aerobatics, including steep climbs and turns, and the plane sometimes came within 5 feet of the water before a final climb caused its speed to fall to 85 miles per hour when it nosedived into the sea, and he was killed by blunt force trauma and drowning. And that the probable cause was pilot's improper decision to perform aggressive low-altitude maneuvers due to his impairment from the use of multiple psychoactive substances, which resulted in a loss of control.
Yeah, so that has to be fixed, and so does the ratings thing with the podcast. I keep waiting for that to get fixed.
0 for 2, June.
Well, no, I like that the article was written, and I like that it's a guy at the station. I most likely like that it's a radio guy, and so all of that is appreciated. In fact, I'm plugging this article quite a bit, so everyone should be happy. I mean, even if I have very little, at least it's something promoting the article. But I really do expect them to take the podcast part out of it. And also, he didn't stumble with the Roy Halladay thing. He got crap for it, but it turns out he was right. So, I mean, I don't know if you could look at that as being a mistake. I mean, if my dad was out flying a plane on a speedball and impaired and killed himself in a plane wreck, I would be furious at him. I would be like, what? Why do I need my father? Why did you do that? Like, that's not what I need out of you. And what if you would have, hurt a lot of people? What if you would have crashed and you would have hurt a bunch of people? That's horrible for our legacy. The guilt would be, you're throwing all that guilt on me. And also, I'm going to have to deal with the repercussions of it financially and everything else. So, yeah, he was being wildly irresponsible. So Felger was absolutely correct. I mean, that's something where people just jumped the gun and got mad at him without knowing anything that was going on. I mean, in retrospect,
yeah. I mean, there was some other commentary attached to it that people really took exception to.
He went after his race.
That's right. That's it.
Roy Halladay. Yeah, that's the third rail. Roy Halladay's wife.
We did talk about Christian Wilkins quite a bit. Adam Butler has weighed in on this situation. So if you don't know, Christian Wilkins allegedly kissing the foreheads of, tickling the feet of teammates in the locker room in an unwanted fashion. So another player, Adam Butler, had this to say on the matter.
a lot of controversy around the defensive line group after the release of Christian Wilkins. How have you seen your unit be able to leave that as just outside noise and hone in on your craft?
Yeah, we pretty much just kind of moved on from the situation. I really don't want to comment further on it. But I will say that, whatever you're going through as a person, athlete, non-athlete, whoever, whatever your struggle is, if you got something going on in life, just, talk to somebody. Get some therapy. Whatever your deal is your deal. Somebody out there in this world full of billions of people is willing to listen. They're willing to listen, hear you out, and help you work through whatever you need to work through. But don't make any hasty decisions to get help.
Okay, so one thing that's coming about a Christian Wilkins that is completely unfair to gay people is that somehow this is tied to him being gay. And I don't know if he's gay or not, but it's not like just because you're gay, you go around tickling dudes' feet and kissing them on the head and, acting the fool.
Making that connection is irresponsible.
Well, I mean, it's like, how it goes. Like, there's a bunch of, like inference or implying or whatever the hell the term is. I always get wrong. But there is a bunch of, online stuff like, oh, he's gay. And it's like, yeah, fine. But that doesn't, first of all, I'm heterosexual and I'm not tickling girls' feet. So, that's, being gay is... I'm not in character.
Okay.
but I'm not tickling people's feet, right? So it is him being gay, and I'm not white knighting for gay people, but it is, I find extraordinarily unfair that Christian Wilkins is gay. Okay, fine. But I'm sure a lot of people are gay in the NFL. They're not going around touching dudes and acting the fool. Christian Wilkins, from the behavior I've seen, is a very, 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 very touchy, almost. They're starting to come out with stuff with him. He's a lot. It seems like he's a lot, more than anything, and not sexually. Just he's a lot, picking guys up and won't shut up. I think that he's a lot to deal with. What I'm getting is that he's someone you wouldn't want to be around. But his sexuality, it's one of those things that oh, he's gay, so what? It doesn't mean got to be kissing guys on the head and tickling their feet without them wanting to. The two things don't line up. I mean, ask a guy that used to play in the NFL about behavior in the locker room. All of it's gay. I mean, if you looked at it if you looked at the NFL and the way locker rooms were 30 years ago from a 10,000-foot view, you would just assume 75% of the people were gay. What was going on in there?
Everyone's got to put money in the center of the circle. For what? You'll see.
Well, that wasn't the NFL. That was college.
That was definitely college.
Yeah, that was a college.
That was definitely college.
You'll see.
Yeah.
Come here.
And the guy who wins the money, you would have to just assume is gay because in order to do what he had to do, I mean, he at least had to be a little sexually turned on.
Yep.
Sure. You put me in that room.
Not happening.
No, not even close.
I could do it.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, but you're like TT Boy.
I didn't know you had.
Yeah.
You're like TT Boy. You're an animal. You can do whatever you want.
Wow.
You're unfazed by any scenario. Yeah, so I did want to say something about this.
What?
Yeah, he's gay. And it's
I'm an animal.
All right, fine, he's gay. Plenty of gay guys not going around grabbing you. All right. We will be back. Pitchfork is very cool. And they have a list that Hardy knows and we don't. So we are going to try to guess what this list is all about. Trust us. It will be something you want to follow. We'll have that for you in just a moment.
Well, it's TT Boy out.
More Toucher and Hardy on the way on the Sports Hub.
Trevor Story hit a 2-run homer and drove in 3 runs to lead the offense, and Lucas Giolito went 6 innings for the win. Aroldis Chapman returned in this one. He struck out Mickey Gasper on 3 pitches to end the game with the tying run on deck. The two teams have closed down their 3-game series this afternoon. The trade deadline arrives at 6 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow night. Pittsburgh Post-Gazette is reporting the Red Sox have spoken to the Pirates about starting pitcher Mitch Keller. Patriots held a second consecutive padded practice yesterday morning in Foxborough as training camp continued. Christian Gonzalez not out there, but present for a little while in street clothes. He hurt himself on Monday. Mass Live and Fox Sports are both reporting it's a hamstring problem for Gonzalez, and it is not believed to be serious. On the field, former first-round draft pick Cole Strange is trying to win his job back at left guard.
Everybody has something to prove. I don't necessarily feel that way specifically, but I just got to, show out every single day and hustle and, consistently compete.
Starting offensive linemen Morgan Moses and Garrett Bradbury both had to leave practice early, and holdout NFL sack leader Trey Hendrickson is expected to report to Cincinnati Bengals training camp today without a new contract. However, it is not known if he will practice. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by the new burgers at the 99, like the new Bourbon Onion Burger. Their half-pound 100% American Angus beef is sure to please. You gotta love the nines. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7:30.
Come on, let's face it. Your summer barbecue, it's just training camp for tailgate season. And Patriots training camp is where the Sports Hub will be as the team gets ready for a new season with a new coach, Mike Vrabel. Keep it on the Sports Hub, and we'll keep you up to date with all things Patriots. 98.5, the Sports Hub.
Is elongating.
Weekday mornings.
Here goes Hardy.
Toucher and Hardy.
I no longer love things.
Let's go. Let's ride.
98.5.
Let's roll the dice.
The Sports Hub.
You can watch us on YouTube. Subscribe to 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube. As that grows and everyone loves to watch us live, you can watch Joe live. I listened to Joe last night. He had gotten pizza delivered.
Oh.
Yeah. And he had an intern on and someone else to talk about what they enjoyed most about the pizza when I was in the car. It was like a 15-minute drive because it was a little later. And there was a lot of talk on the saucer-like pepperoni. Like they were pepperoni cups. He was very enthused about that. Everyone enjoyed that. But then there was a pizza that they thought was going to be barbecue chicken, but it added a little spice.
Oh,
not everyone.
I didn't see that coming.
And that threw some people for a loop.
You can go one way or another with that one.
But Joe just seemed to sit back and have a laugh at the younger guys just experiencing that pizza for the first time. He was just looking at that pizza through their virginal eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so we love lists, especially in the summer. Who doesn't love a list? And Pitchfork, Hardy, they do a lot of reviews, tons and tons of reviews of music.
Yes, and rightly focusing in on the 90s. They said it was a time where, and there really was. There was nothing like going into the record store, whether it was Strawberries or the Harmony House, Tower Records, Sam Goody.
Harmony House.
Yeah, you like that?
Can I tell you one thing very quickly is that I read Bret Easton Ellis say it, and it's very true. And this isn't things were better or things were worse. But when you had to go to the movies to watch a movie, or you had to go to the record store to buy a record, or if you went to a bookstore and browsed and bought a book, there was an implicit investment in that time, right?
Yeah.
So if you went to the movies or you go to the movies, the chances of you leaving that movie early are very, very low. So you are going to be at least a little invested in it. If you buy an album and take it home, you've spent the money, you've made, it's not even so much the money as the trip.
Mm-hmm.
And then you bring that home, you're going to listen to that, and it's going to be mean more to you because of the effort that was put into it.
It was a journey.
Exactly.
In order to get
so there is something about the disposability of product now that you watch it on streaming. You have put no effort into it. You haven't invested in it. You're not going to be as invested in the product. The same goes with music. Now that every single song ever is available to you, it's obviously just by human nature, none of that is going to be as valuable to you. Certainly, you'll pick up things here and there that you really enjoy, but there's not going to be that emotional investment that you had by having to go through the rigor of like picking it up. And I know it's not shoveling ditches, but there is something to be said of I got up with the notion of I was going to purchase something. I picked the thing up, bought it, brought it home, put it on whatever I was going to listen to it on, and had that experience. So yes, there is something about before streaming that I think music was a little more important to the people that bought it. Not as a general thing, but as the people that bought it. Not that music is any worse or better back then, because that's skewed to my age. But there is the tactile, the tangibility of the physical thing.
I think it speaks to the notion that, especially for us, the music meant something more to you at that age, because it just does. As your brain is developing, these things make imprints on you, but it meant more to you because of all the things you had to go through in order to get it, and the money that you had to spend to get it. And they say it's like it was at least if you found a CD for $12. That was a bargain.
It was a steal.
Yeah, it ended up being more like $15, $17.99 to buy a CD. That was like an investment. So, with all that being said, they have ranked the top 150 albums of the 90s. All right,
150.
We're not so we're going to go through the entire list.
Oh, good.
Track by track.
Yeah, I hope
every album.
We don't have any guests today, so we thought we'd spend this 3 hours going through the entire list.
What we'll do is see how many you can come up with that made Pitchfork's top 10. Out of the top 150 albums of the 90s, all genres, you have to see if you can name as many as you can that made their top 10.
Okay, so I am going to start with an album I can't stand, but I don't know, but I guarantee you it's in the top 10. It was omnipresent. I cannot stand this record. I don't know why, but it bugs me. The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
Freddie T.
Cameron. All right,
John Wallach.
Yeah, John, you make a dumb guess, you fool. Go try to make some.
I think Wallach's going to do okay on this.
Okay, let's do the easy one. Nirvana, Nevermind.
Look at John Wallach, number 10.
Oh,
10.
Wow.
Oh,
all right. I'm going to have a lot of trouble if that's number 10.
Check, please.
I have a lot of trouble.
Okay, I am going to guess there is an Eminem album on it. And the Marshall Mathers LP is where I'm going to land on that.
Okay.
Ah!
No Eminem album.
Did that come out after the 90s?
The top 150.
Okay, so that Marshall Mathers LP must have
yeah.
come out around 2001 or something.
Not one Eminem album.
All right. All right. You prick.
I mean, there's wrong and there's so.
All right, maybe it came out in 2001. All right.
Mr. Music swing.
Whoa, I don't like this.
Wow.
If you get a year wrong, you son of a bitch.
It's Pitchfork. So are they going to go Eminem?
Yeah,
or are they going to go
I guarantee
something
in the
else?
2000s they would. They did Lauryn Hill.
No,
Go
but
ahead.
I'm saying maybe in that same space.
Yeah, I know what I'm guessing next.
Okay, all right, good.
All right,
go ahead, John.
Dr. Dre, The Chronic. We're in trouble.
Stupid.
we're in a lot of trouble.
Number 24 though.
Oh,
okay.
right,
Not
there
bad.
you go.
Not bad.
All right, REM, Automatic for the People.
Oh my God. Should be.
That is not in the top 10 of Pitchfork.
That's what top 5 favorite albums of all time. Number 63.
Now, I'm not a fan of REM, but that was a seminal album of the 90s.
Everywhere.
Okay. I got another guess, but go ahead.
All right. Now I'm trying to think like they're trying to be like over the top.
Like how
cool.
cute are they being?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think.
So cute with number 1, you'll never get it.
All right. Alanis Morissette, Jagged Little Pill.
It's not a bad guess, John. But that's number 51.
Okay.
Okay, they're being so cute with number 1, you'll never get it.
You'll never get it.
Okay, so like alternative bands that everyone... so it can't be a Replacements album because those were all in the 80s.
I guarantee if Adam 12 were here, he would just talk endlessly about it. Not that I even know that he knows it. It just seems like a band that he would know a lot about and wouldn't shut up about.
Okay, so Interpol and the Strokes are all the 2000s. So you're talking about the 90s. So you had bands like Fugazi, you had Nirvana. Is Pearl Jam 10 in the top 10? Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of that album either.
That was like early 90s too. Pearl Jam 10 did not even make. There is no Pearl Jam album in the top 100.
All right, this list is crazy. All right.
Well, it's not crazy. It's just that I'm trying. I'm not saying my albums. I'm saying that their albums. All right, go ahead.
But these are like
Captain
mainstream,
Beefheart.
All right, Public Enemy, Fear of a Black Planet.
That's 80s. That's 89.
Is
That's
it
not gonna
89
be-
or is
yeah.
it on the list?
No, it's not on the list.
No, that's in the 80s.
Okay.
All right. Okay. All right. What?
John, he's still wrong. But that was 1990, and it's number 27.
Okay.
They
Good guess,
recorded it
John.
in 89.
Okay.
I mean, let's give me a break.
My
It was
mistake.
mixed in 90.
Okay.
It was mastered.
It was they were the master recordings. All right, so our Automatic for the People wasn't on there. So you're thinking of alternative bands that everyone that they would have loved.
Okay,
And-
there's one on here that just is ridiculous. I'll tell you this. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 alternative bands still in the top 10 beyond Nirvana.
Okay, is there a Sonic Youth record
in the top 10? No.
Jesus.
All right.
Which would be a great guess. That's really more spin, though. If this were a Spin magazine list, it would be all Sonic Youth.
Okay, go ahead, Jonathan.
And by the way, the album Goo came out in 1990. That's number 60 or number 88.
Okay.
Jesus.
I got to know these alternatives.
Yeah. No Doubt.
Oh, I know.
Is No Doubt in there?
I don't even have to look.
Green Day Dookie. Okay.
No Doubt Tragic Kingdom came in at 94.
Okay.
And Green Day's Dookie, number 111.
Oh, my God.
Okay, I'm just
Are these good bands? Because I'm guessing, like, albums.
One of them is a good band. One of them is a good band by marriage.
There's no way there's a Foo Fighters record in the top 10.
No.
Okay. Yeah, okay. All right. Pat has some good guesses. Pat, go ahead.
Okay, I got to do it. Dave Matthews, Under the Table and Dreaming.
Of course.
No.
Yeah, that's got to be number
That's
one.
a good guess. Good call.
Stop it.
And Pat, what was your other guess?
Hootie. What's
Oh,
the big Hootie album?
Oh, yeah.
The Hootie album was just Hootie and the Boys Making Noise was the name of it.
They're both great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's do it.
Of course, that Pitchfork would have that up there.
okay.
These snobs of Pitchfork would definitely have that.
No,
okay, so
no
it's,
Dave Matthews, no Hootie
see,
anywhere. on
I
the
should
list.
specialize in this snobby stuff, but like I'm drawing a blank.
There are two women with quote unquote solo records on here beyond
course.
Lauryn Hill. One of them's they're both alternative artists. One of them is just insufferable. I can't believe anybody.
That was
Okay.
Alanis
listens to it. And
Morissette.
Is there a PJ Harvey album in the top 10?
No. All right, but you're kind of going down almost the right path.
Yeah.
I'll give you a hint. One of these women, allegedly, her fish is the fish used at the end of the Faith No More video for Epic. The fish is flopping around, and the fish was apparently taken out of her aquarium and used in the video. And she comes from a nation known for fish.
It's not Bjork.
It is.
Hey! Well
Bjork's
done.
Homogenic, 1997. Iceland's own.
She
number
had
is this?
stalkers like there was no tomorrow.
Jeez.
Bjork had a rough time with these sensitive stalkers. For some reason, she really appealed to some psychos. Now, what number was that?
Number 6.
Okay, so Bjork, because I was going to go Sugar Cubes, but that's the 8.
John, there's an R&B artist on here.
Okay.
Again, very popular, mostly due to her family's huge popularity.
Janet Jackson, Control.
Yeah, I was just going to... No,
Janet Jackson is correct, but what album?
Oh,
From
it's gotta be-
97.
No, it's got to... Control was in the 80s. Is that the one with That's the Way Love Goes On? Or is that Janet? Is it like self-titled one?
No, it is. I'll give it to you, though. It's The Velvet Rope.
Okay.
Of course. Yeah, I mean, everyone loves the Velvet Rope.
Okay.
There's another band on here who Eddie Trunk cannot pronounce their name in the top 10.
A Tribe Called Quest, Low End Theory.
Correct.
Nice.
Number 9.
Okay. How many more hip hop albums are on it?
1.
Tupac.
No, this is a legit album from '93 that people still reference and talk about to this day, and we play a remix of one of the songs from this album on this station as a rejoin on other shows.
Okay, so '93. It's a rap group it's a group.
It's a huge group.
Okay, a huge group from 1993.
And not Digital Underground, but it's a lot of people.
Well, that's from the 80s. It's a lot of people. It's a collective. Wu-Tang. Enter the Wu-Tang.
Not Enter the Wu-Tang.
What?
Oh, yes, Enter the Wu-Tang 36 Chambers.
Yeah. I should have guessed that in the first place.
You should have said Jermaine Wiggins raps to this song. Then we would have gotten it.
Another alternative artist. She's really good, and thanks to her late husband, who I am still convinced wrote the songs on the album.
Hole lived through this?
Correct. Number 8.
Wow.
Jesus Christ.
I mean,
it's not a bad album.
It's not a bad album.
Billy Corgan wrote those songs.
No. That was a later album.
Oh, that was?
Yeah.
All right. How many left do we have?
3.
Are the Beastie Boys in there?
No.
Beastie Boys are in there for Check Your Head, but
Okay.
they are down the list at number 67.
No, they wouldn't put that in there. And Paul's Boutique came out in the 80s. All right, so that would be the one
By the
that would
way,
be in there.
Soundgarden's Super Unknown with Black Holes on there.
I saw that. It's like 148.
148. I'm like, don't even put it on there then, you
And then
asses.
Fugazi Repeater is like 147, which is an album I like. Dan, you got Wu-Tang Clan, so you're correct. All right, Stu, go ahead.
Yeah, what about Tori Amos?
Oh, that's not a bad guess at all.
That's a really good guess for this list, but ultimately incorrect.
Yeah. Like nothing you'd really want to listen to.
Yeah, I mean,
Bad Motorfinger.
He already said Bad Motorfinger was 148.
No, Super Unknown was 148. Bad Motorfinger doesn't make the list.
Yes, some of these have been guessed. Tribe Called Quest, Low End Theory is on there.
All right, a female alternative artist, an alternative band. There's an obvious alternative band. Everyone loves this album. They say this is their high water mark, and this is the big one. 1997, Robbie Roadsteamer parodied this album title for one of his albums.
Oh, well, that's a huge help.
Yeah.
Okay, so
and it's not Heart of a Rhino, not that album.
And the Donnas are 2000, so it can't be that.
I like the Donnas.
They were nice. Okay, so a female band.
No, a female artist, and then another alternative band with a huge album that people still sweat to this day. They say this is it.
A huge alternative band an album that people sweat to this day, and a female artist. So it's not like Bikini Kill or something.
No.
All right.
Female artist, singular.
Like an iconic artist?
Nope.
Okay.
Fiona Apple.
No, good guess.
That's a good guess. Because his critics love Fiona Apple.
She has 2 albums in the top 150.
Oh,
number 37 and number 19.
It's not an iconic female artist.
No.
Oh,
Jesus Christ! I don't know anything from the
Supernova
97.
was her hit song.
Oh, I still don't know.
I don't know either.
All right. Liz Phair, Exile in Guyville
Okay.
from 1993.
You have to remember this is a dead period of my pop culture experience. All right, I got to get the alternative band.
Yes.
It's an alternative band that everyone sweats. This album to this day, and they're a proper alternative band.
Yes.
And this was a hit record.
Yes. Huge hit.
Okay. And what is the year?
97.
Okay, senior. Oh, Oasis.
Nope.
Ooh, what's the story? More in Glory.
Yeah.
Think more shoegazery.
Like Pavement?
No.
Oh, Radiohead.
Correct.
What
album?
Kid A.
No.
No. Not the Bends. The one before that. Which I don't know the name of the record. I should have guessed Radiohead from the very jump.
know.
I'm a little disappointed in myself.
Okay, computer.
Okay.
All right, so Liz Bear is 4. Radiohead OK Computer is 3. We already identified Lauryn Hill at number 2. And then the number 1 album of the 90s from, I don't know anything about this band. I mean, I know the name. They're an Irish-English band. They're formed in 83. I don't know
what the Firm.
I don't know what to tell.
The Cranberries.
I don't know what to tell you about them, other than a lot of lineup changes.
Oh, Pete Doherty's band? The Pete Doherty's band that everyone loved? Okay. Geez. Irish-British band. Male lead singer?
Kevin Shields, Colm Glasgow,
The Proclaimers.
Debbie Googe, Belinda Butcher, David Conway. Those are the band members.
That doesn't help. I don't know. Just go ahead.
My Bloody Valentine. And the album Loveless from 1991.
Well, you can tell that I did not I did not read this list. All right. Well, there you go. That was interesting. That was an interesting exercise. I'm glad we did it. If anyone had My Bloody Valentine as number 1, you are a true hero. So there you go. All right. Mark Daniels will join us in just a moment.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy.
Recording stopped.
Yeah, so it was 3 days ago, first 11-on-11 pass. He was covering Stephon Diggs. And as soon as Diggs made the catch, he like popped up and grabbed the back of his left hamstring. Seemed pretty clear that at that point he suffered a hamstring injury. Sort of hobbled off to the sideline, immediately called for the trainers, and they kind of came over to him. He was on the ground, and then he does this like really slow, like limp walk to this trainer shed in the back of the practice field, where they then like took him off, and he didn't return. So what I was told, and what my colleague Karen Gregan was told yesterday, was that it was indeed an injury to his left hamstring. The Patriots are basically saying it's day-to-day. It's not considered serious, which to me says, all right, he didn't tear his hamstring, which is, a positive thing. But in terms of his recovery, they don't know the timeline. And I think, when it comes to, reporting on injuries, the thing we have to remember is, his return will be dependent on how fast you can recover. And considering it's training camp, I'm sure the Patriots won't rush back their best player. So it could have been worse, but also not ideal to have Christian Gonzalez suffer a soft tissue injury on day 5 of training camp. I mean, in terms of the players you can't lose on the roster, I'd say he's up there with Drake May. So, it could be worse, but, certainly could be better.
In terms of like your experience and memory when it comes to hamstrings, I know like high ankles are the worst because they can pop up again at weird times, and they can plague you for an entire season or more. What's been your experience covering guys with hamstrings that seem to be at the level that Gonzalez has right now?
If you don't rehab it right, it does creep back up. I remember Matthew Slater. It was one of my first years on the beat, and this is sort of a weird story. I was in the same hotel as the Patriots in Buffalo. I shared an elevator ride with Matthew Slater, and we were just talking about hamstring injuries because he had one that season. He was just telling how difficult it was that, he wanted to get back out there, but when he got out there too soon, he actually injured it again, and how hamstring injuries, the big thing is patience. And in case people really want to know, I actually tore my hamstring in high school running track and field. So
it's the same thing.
Yeah, different athlete there between me and Christian Gonzalez. But if you don't rehab it right, though, guys, it will set him back. So
if you've had a hamstring injury, 617-779-0985. Let's do it that way. Yeah.
Very, very dramatic. Fell in the track, and people had to carry me off. It was it sucked.
Oh, you wimp.
But, yeah.
What event?
It was tough. It was a 200-meter dash. Yeah, first meet of my senior year, guys. I know this is what everyone wants to hear. I was yeah.
Did you have college aspirations?
Yeah, were you any good?
I did. Yeah, I did. Actually, I walked on to the University of UNH for a little bit, but I actually stopped because of my hamstring, because hopefully, unlike Christian Gonzalez, I didn't rehab it properly, and it sort of crept up on me and kind of stuck with me a little bit.
So the defensive secondary for the Patriots, I know it's really early, but where is Carlton Davis? I mean, you have both guys out right now.
Yeah, so this is I think, like, if there was like one problem area for the Patriots, it's cornerback, because Carlton Davis has only been at 2 out of 6 practices, and one of those was a walkthrough, and the other one was the first day of practice non-pads. So with Carlton Davis out with an unknown reason, Christian Gonzalez out, the guys playing in the starting secondary have been Alex Austin. They've moved Marcus Jones a little bit outside, and another guy, DJ James, who was on the practice squad. I said, looking at the overall roster, I mean, right now, the biggest weak point is the cornerback position, because your 2 starters are out. And I think it's sort of shown on, or sort of shines the light on the Pats' depth, or maybe even lack thereof at cornerback right now. I thought it's been a little bit rough for them without those 2 starters.
Can I ask you, what is it about training camp where these guys, like, because if you follow like Adam Schefter and stuff that are covering the game nationally, there's guys going down with ACLs. Like, there's multiple like serious injuries every day. This might sound stupid, but I don't think it is. These guys train all year round. They conceivably are cutting and running all year round. They're lifting extraordinarily heavy weight. They're doing all this stuff. What is it about these practices? Like, how are all these guys getting hurt during these practices?
I think a lot of these guys, they're all in shape. They're professional athletes.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
It must be a certain way to train. And it actually reminds me, and I was looking this up, it was 2023. I think Mike Vrabel called out repeat offenders of soft tissue injuries when he was with the Titans. And he actually called out 2 of his players. It was Christian Fulton and David Long, and said something like, I think it's, quote, "They have to figure out a way to train and act like the game's played at a high speed." basically saying, sure, they're in shape, but the reason they're having certain injuries is because they're not training the right way. Then he said, like, Kevin Byard, who was like their longtime safety, like never pulled a hamstring, and there was a reason for that. It was because of the way he trained. So honestly, it might be, the way they're training. Like, yeah, sure, maybe they're in shape, but maybe it's not the proper football shape when you come to a training camp and you're running at full speed with pads and stuff.
Yeah, it just seems odd that this, it's not like 1975 when Stabler would come in, 8 beers deep and mumble around the field. Like these guys have to stay in this kind of condition. Have you noticed any trends since pads have been on? Like, have things changed in good or bad ways? Or do you notice different things from different players?
Yeah, definitely. Jared Wilson, 3rd-round pick out of Georgia, looks really impressive. I mean, yesterday, people had him 3-0 against Milton Williams and twice against Christian Barmore in one-on-ones, and that's really impressive for a rookie. I mean, the Pats have really been working him in, the starters at left guard, center, and even a little bit at right guard. He's doing it all, and I think he's just so talented that it wouldn't be surprising to see him start sooner or later, whether it's left guard or center. I thought Will Campbell has had some good moments. He had a welcome to the NFL moment when he got, pushed on his butt a couple times by Kean White in the first day of pads. But, he held his own against Kean White yesterday in one-on-ones. And then I think 11s, he's been pretty good. I was thinking about this, like last year at this point, the Pats had no continuity in the offensive line. Like, remember, we thought Michael Wenu was the right tackle. Then all of a sudden it was Chuks Okorafor was the right tackle. And then Vidarian Lowe was the left tackle. Sidney So at one point was the starting left guard in camp. And then he got moved. And it was such a mess last year. Their offensive line was just so bad. Probably one of the worst offensive line performances I've seen. So like this year, I'm like, oh, it's actually not that bad. Now, it's not perfect. Morgan Moses left practice yesterday.
Well, I wanted to ask you about him because I always feel like I need to say this. I really like Morgan Moses. I thought he was a good signing. He's plays through injury. He seems to be a great locker room guy, all those things. But I am concerned about him at 34. He's carried a lot of weight. He's played a lot of football. He leaves practice a lot. And now is that them going, he's 34 and carries a lot of weight, let's take it easy with him?
Also 1,000,000 degrees yesterday.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but John, other guys can stay out there. Like it's still like they might be giving him, keeping him fresh and things like that. But this is all pointing to what we already knew. Like this is a guy that this might be his last year playing football. I mean, that's not a stretch. It most likely probably is. Does any of that concern you, or is it just keeping him on a pitch count?
Yeah, so I think right now he's definitely on a pitch count, but I'll say yesterday at practice, him leaving in the middle of practice, we haven't seen that all offseason. So maybe it was the heat. Maybe it was as simple as that. He had to get an IV or something.
Good. Yeah, but that's not good. None of that's good. I mean,
and the other part too is that Garrett Bradbury at the end of practice on a run block kind of fell down. It looked like maybe it was an ankle thing. Like it wasn't serious enough that he immediately left practice, but it was serious enough that he limped, called for a trainer, and the final 2 snaps he didn't play. So there's a couple things to watch here. It's, Morgan Moses, why did he leave practice? Was it just heat related? Garrett Bradbury, is he injured? Can he play or not? But honestly, I say that, but I also got to remind everyone, the offensive line was brutal, like F, D plus F last year. And it hasn't been like that this year. They've been more competitive, which is encouraging. And also the receivers too, guys. I mean, Stephon Diggs and Demario Douglas has gone another level, and Stephon Diggs, has made an impact. So, that's also a big plus, and that's something we didn't see last year with the receivers.
Okay. Just real quick. Sorry, Hardy. Who is the wide receiver too? You have Pop Douglas in the slot. You have Diggs on one side. Who's the second wide receiver?
Yeah, it's Kayshon Boutte, and it's been that way all offseason. No, honestly, I think he's like roster lock territory now. He's been the starting X receiver since OTAs, and it hasn't changed. Like the receivers that Drake May targets, it's been like Diggs 1, Pop 2, and then Boutte 3, and it really hasn't been close. Like through 6 days of camp, and I know JJ Watt would hate this. Kayshon Boutte has 5 catches from Drake May. Like Kyle Williams is next at the receiver with 3. And
Polk's getting cut. They're going to cut Polk.
Then Polk, Baker, and Kendrick Bourne all have 1 catch each from Drake May through 6 days.
Yeah, but Polk's was a touchdown catch. So
yeah.
But yeah, and Polk's he's only practiced 2 days. So in 2 days he had 1 catch,
It's pretty good batting average.
Like on one target.
Do you think Polk is the most likely out of those guys to not make the team?
I wouldn't say that. Most likely would be Baker or Kendrick Bourne. You know, like for me, it's been a little eye-opening that Kendrick has basically been with the second-team offense all training camp. I didn't expect that. I thought he'd be worked in with the ones a little bit more, but most of his reps and catches have been predominantly from Joshua Dobbs. And then Javon Baker, though, had a great catch in the end zone yesterday, and 2 days ago, he had a deep catch that was really good. So I'd say 2 out of the last 3 practices, Javon Baker shined, but guys, Matt Collins isn't practicing yet, and when he comes off PUP, he's a roster lock based off his salary.
And special team, he's special teams too, right? Or no?
Yeah, he's special. He can factor in the special teams as well. So like you'll have 5 guys already locked in, and without mentioning Bourne, Baker, and Pope. So it might be one of those, or I mean, maybe 2, but I'd say after only seeing Pope for 2 days, I mean, it was a good sign that he did catch a touchdown from Drake May.
All right.
What was your personal best in the 200 meter?
My personal best was like low 23s. It wasn't that.
Oh,
that's still good.
That's good from what I learned about it in the last 30 seconds online. Like anything sub 25 is good.
Yeah, you know, I did okay, guys. I did okay.
But that had to suck in all seriousness. Like if you thought you were going to run in college and then your first meet you get hurt, that's got to be devastating.
It was devastating, but you know, at the end of the day, I went to UNH to run track, and it was like my goal. But when I stopped running, I got into sports writing, so you know, it all worked out.
Yeah, but now a life of poverty awaits you. All right, very good.
I didn't go to the Olympics, so
okay. All right. Well, listen, Mark Daniels, thank you so much. Read him on Mass Live. Appreciate it as always. Great stuff today.
Thanks, guys. Anytime.
All right, there you go. Mark Daniels. Is there anything today? There's no practice today, is there?
I think there is. Is there not?
Well, the Jets don't have practice, so I just figured everyone was
Patriots
following
just
that
had
script.
Sunday off, so
I'm
they will be out there today.
Okay. We will be back in just a moment to hear the headlines.
Sports Hub headlines presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Red Sox won in Minnesota. They beat the Twins last night 8-5. Trevor Story, a 2-run homer, 3 RBI. Sox will wrap up their 3-game series at Target Field this afternoon. Brian Bayo will start. Patriots went through another padded practice yesterday morning in the heat in Foxborough. Mass Live, as you just heard, confirmed an earlier Fox Sports report which indicated Christian Gonzalez suffered a hamstring injury on Monday that is not considered serious. Officially, he is listed as day-to-day. The team will go again later this morning. And in other NFL news, Cincinnati holdout edge rusher Trey Hendrickson will reportedly arrive at Bengals camp this morning. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Boston Prolotherapy. Don't let joint pain keep you off the court, course, or trail. Eliminate that pain with Dr. Franke of Boston Prolotherapy. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 8 o'clock.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
You've got to try the new burgers at the Nines. Bigger, bold.
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy. Be listening for your chance to score a pair of tickets to see comedian Nate Bargatze. Right?
Sure.
That's how you say it, but that's the correct. That's how I have to do it. I have to make it super Italian. Nate Bargatze.
You did it.
Thank you. At TD Garden on Saturday, August 9th. 2 shows virtually sold out. This is pretty amazing. The third show added at 3 p.m. Tickets still available at Ticketmaster.com. 3 arena shows in 2 days. That is in one city. That is incredibly impressive for Nate Bargatze, as I have to say to pronounce it correctly. This is what I have to do.
It's a tough name.
The article about Felger being like the tastemaker, the most influential person in Boston, which I enjoy because he's a radio guy, and not only that, he's on this station, so I like that. The part about his ratings in podcasts is still up there. The fact checkers need to get involved, or I'm planning a lawsuit, a Trump-style lawsuit. Billions.
Yeah.
Yeah. If he can go after Rupert Murdoch, I can certainly go after John Henry. I mean, I see that as an error. Now, an innocent error, but an error nonetheless. And if he's talking about Felger's listeners going to the podcast, those podcast listeners count towards the ratings in a 24-hour period. So, come on. Let's clean up the mess. All right? I'll let the Roy Halladay thing stand, even though Felger was proven that correct in a way because Roy Halladay was under the influence of several drugs and, according to the autopsy, very impaired when he was flying the airplane that eventually crashed. But that's more of a matter of public sentiment at the time. I'll let that slide, Jonathan.
Okay.
But I will not stand for the podcasting thing. I know Hawk Tua Girl has taken over media as we know it with her Tua coin and everything else.
That worked out well, yes.
And I know the Delk boys have had a great deal of success since interviewing Netanyahu. Here's my advice if you're a podcaster. Don't interview politicians. Just stay away. If you have a good business and you're like kind of dicking around and people like it and kids like it, don't interview politicians. All it's going to do is open up this wave of things you don't want in your life. Like if you're making a lot of money, like think of probably what Rogan wanted to do with his podcast. And then he gets this giant deal with Spotify, and that's fantastic, right? So, Rogan is always, when I knew him years and years and years ago, he was always interesting. He was like the first guy to have that sensory deprivation chamber like in his house. Like he smoked DMT before anyone I knew smoked DMT. Like every time I talked to him, he would have some like interesting thing. He was an interesting guy. He was into MMA when no one liked MMA. Like he was always like a seeker, like an interesting guy. So I understand the concept. Have his friends on, have some guys that he finds interesting, shoot the crap with them, like get
UFOs, JFK,
right,
conspiracy,
all that stuff,
which that's what I talked to him about. He came in to promote an MMA fight, and I think he had been up all night. It was in Vegas. So that was pretty common. They would come in, and I was doing middays at the time. We'd have guests on, and we would either record or go live, and these people would come in, and they hadn't been to bed. They had gotten to Vegas the night before, 2 nights before, and they were just, pulling all-nighters. But instead of talking about Randy Couture and Tito Ortiz, we talked about JFK for 45 minutes.
Right. He had like Jonathan Haidt on one time, like when I first had heard of his podcast, who has interesting books about the way children are raised now. Like he had, like, it's interesting. Like, look, I don't believe anyone listens to it all the way through. There's just no way. You can't have like an astrophysicist on and tell me that there's guys at an auto shop like glued into this for 2.5 hours. And I don't mean that as an insult to auto shops. I mean that real men, people that are not academics. And especially even if you were an academic, it would probably be very frustrating because it's Joe Rogan talking to the guy. And you're probably like, like,
ask him this.
Yeah. Like, right. Wait, there's a bunch of stuff wrong. So, but all that's fine. And he made a lot of money. So that money's been made.
Okay.
Now, do you think he wants to have to go around Austin? And comedian Tim Dillon's talked about this. I have heard, like my friend saw this that lives in Austin. Like he has, anywhere he goes, there's a security team that goes out and like covers the perimeter of the area, not just follows him around like one guy, but like a team that's around the perimeter of wherever he is. Don't you think he could go back? Because then he like endorses Trump and half the country gets mad at him. But then now he's saying he doesn't like the Epstein stuff and that he feels like he's been lied to. And here we are, 6 months into the presidency, and he's, pulling back on that. And now they're all pissed off at him. Don't you think his life would be a lot better if he just never got involved? Like if he didn't become someone that like the New York Times points to, or like news sources cover his political, like he at heart is an average stand-up comedian. Don't you think life would be a lot better if he just had like Ari Shaffir on talking about how he dosed someone or something like that? Like that, wouldn't that be? Because the money was there anyway. And so there's this, is it Nelk Boy? There's some podcast with, I heard them referred to as 30-year-old teenagers. They're pretending they're teenagers, but they're in their 30s. And they had, from what I know, like a successful YouTube thing happening. And then they have Netanyahu on. And all of a sudden, okay, welcome to this whole thing. Now you got the Palestine-Israel situation on your plate. Congratulations, young man. And now what did that get you? What did that get you? It didn't get you any more money. If anything, it's going to tank the whole effing operation. You morons. And I guess Rogan wouldn't have Netanyahu on. Oh. And so he goes, well, now I'm going to do this Nelk Boys thing. Because it got people, elected to the presidency. I think that's at a point where you're kind of being used. You understand? Like, people way more powerful than you, regardless of your output or regardless of what you're doing, they're using you. They're using you and letting you deal with the backlash. And I just don't, like, Theo Vaughn was on Road Rules or whatever the hell he was on. Let Theo Vaughn be on Road Rules and have a mullet. Like, now he's got Bernie Sanders and Trump. Like, This is his life now?
Yep.
This is his life. And it's not, like, he has every right to do it. I just think that your life would be a lot easier, and you'd make just as much money having Tony Robbins on.
Yeah.
It
probably, he got bad advice. It probably seemed like a good idea. Snap judgment. Oh, let's bring him in.
Marin
but
has
10 minutes into that interview, any good podcaster would be like, oh, crap.
Knowing that I'm going to get into this. So Marin had Obama on, but at the time, that was insane that Obama was going on a podcast. This guy's literally doing it out of his garage in California.
Yeah.
Like, this is crazy. This guy that was on his last legs that through this desperation, what the hell's a podcast thing up? Obama does that. It's huge news, not because of what he says on the podcast, but because can you imagine a president doing a podcast?
Yeah.
And so that was very valuable to him and kind of for the medium legitimized it in a lot of ways. But if I'm making hundreds of millions of dollars, if I'm Rogan or if I'm the Nelk Boys, whatever they make for views or whatever, that I really want to, I understand that you feel important when they want to come on, but maybe not have them on. Like, I would never have a politician on this show. Even if it would we'd be in the paper and stuff, it would be covered in the news. No. I don't need that lifestyle. I don't need that on my plate. All right, caller number 10 to the contest. And believe me, they all want to come on. Caller number 10 to the contest line. I'm Maura Healey. I know two of her sisters.
Oh.
I could have her on whenever I wanted.
Look at you.
No, I couldn't. Caller number 10 in the contest line, 617-931-0985. You win a pair of tickets to see comedian Nate Baghesi at the TD Garden on Saturday, August 9th. 2 shows virtually sold out. With a third show added at 3 o'clock. Tickets still available at Ticketmaster.com. We will be back in just a moment.
Felger and Maz. Joe Murray. For Boston sports fans, it's 98.5, the Sports Hub. Paisley Media Group Station. Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Red Sox jumped out to a 6-1 lead last night and hung on for an 8-5 win in Minnesota. Trevor Story led the offense with a homer and 3 runs batted in.
It's huge, man. I mean, that's where it starts, man, and we can ride off that. We feel like we're in every game, and Lucas did it tonight for us too, especially after a weird game yesterday, you know. And to come out and get the win today was huge.
Brooks Lee homered twice and drove in all 5 runs for the Twins. The Sox will pitch Brian Bayo this afternoon in the finale of this 3-game series. The Major League Baseball trade deadline is tomorrow. Toronto got Baltimore reliever Sir Anthony Dominguez yesterday in the middle of a doubleheader between the two teams. The Pittsburgh Post-Gazette reports the Red Sox are one of the teams in contact with the Pirates about a possible trade for starting pitcher Mitch Keller. Patriots held a second consecutive padded practice yesterday in Foxborough as training camp continues. Christian Gonzalez not out there, but present for a little while on the sideline. Mass Live and Fox Sports are both reporting it's a hamstring problem for Gonzalez. It is not believed to be serious. Holdout NFL sack leader Trey Hendrickson is expected to report to Cincinnati Bengals training camp today, and the New York Jets have signed former Patriots kicker Nick Folk. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Super Service Today, Massachusetts' #1 provider for residential and commercial plumbing, heating, cooling, and drain cleaning, day or night, and always done right. Visit superservicetoday.com. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 8:30.
Start your day.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Work through your day.
What's that thing we do at the end of the show?
And end your day.
I'm not giving you an opinion. I don't know.
Right here, 98.5, the Sports Hub. Half toucher.
Dressed like a gorilla.
Half Hardy.
A big, beautiful ball of flame.
And a whole lot of Boston sports.
And I have had many offers to become an insider from Palestine on.
Yeah.
So this is their lives now.
Good for them.
Yep. Fred, I thought of you because you're on public radio. You have to have them politicians on if they request, or is that only for advertising? Also, if you have Mayor Wu or Senator Warren on your show, 99% chance you're picking up drinking again or getting fired. I don't know why I would get fired. I wouldn't want to interview either of them by any stretch of the imagination. I don't want to tell you how to feel politically because I'm not smart. Believe me, my father makes that very clear every time politics comes up. You don't need my opinion on anything.
Advertising-wise, I don't know if they have to take it, but I would say if you want to advertise on this radio station, you can with pretty much...
Yeah, if you're bitching about advertising on the station, you advertise on the station.
Yeah, then you can advertise. But it
ain't cheap, but you can do it.
If you do have a political person on and someone requests equal time, then you have to give it. That's still a thing, the equal time rule. But, Fred, all these suggestions that you have for podcasters, that's fine. But I ask respectfully, what do you know? There are people out there who have... made a career out of starting radio stations and consulting people. One of these people is a guy by the name of James Mulvaney, who you know him as the founder and CEO of radio.co, podcast.co, matchmaker.fm.
This sounds very foreign. Next thing is geocities.edu.
qpodcast.com.
Oh, they're ruining the industry. It's a monopoly.
You can find him in the UK in Manchester, but he has decided, and I don't know what's with the generosity, but has just given away on YouTube the 5 things that you need to do as a broadcaster, podcaster, or presenter, as James is prone to say.
People with their different terms.
So why don't you...
Cue is line.
Why don't you shush and learn something, and instead of spewing your nonsense about what podcasters need to be doing,
you
or
have
not,
a guy from Israel on to talk about the conflict,
ought not be doing, let James teach all of us. And if
we have porn stars on every week, and I'm not making this up. Let's now turn around and have Netanyahu. we're banging these porn stars and having them on, and they're talking about dildos and stuff. And, hey, Netanyahu, what will change? There'll be no backlash.
All of our dildo talk is coming up at 9
That's
a.m.,
right.
by the
Save
way.
it.
I know,
Save
but you
it.
got it in my head, and now I
Yeah.
got dildo fever.
So now, so James has advice for radio presenters, podcasters, everyone, and this is all. Again, listen, Fred, with an open mind and an open heart, and maybe you'll learn something.
Are you in the enviable position of having your own radio show? Perhaps you're a broadcaster, you're a radio presenter, you're a podcaster.
It's all the same thing. If you're in the enviable position of having the equipment to make a podcast.
Right.
It's all the same. I like how it's all under the same umbrella. Getting a job in radio, getting a job in broadcasting, or starting your own podcast.
Did you spend $120 at Guitar Center? No, enviable that.
This $120 will soon turn into $150 if you made your P's and Q's.
But it's easy enough to just put that fader up and say the same things again and again. Well, in this video, I'm going to give you 5 solid themes that you can implement into your links or to your show content.
Yeah, that was a big problem for me. Is what I used to do when I first started in radio is I would just repeat the word acumen over and over again because I thought it would make me sound smart. So I'd say over and over again, I'd say the same thing,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Fred Acumen. Hey, everybody.
That's
Fred.
a good radio name. Fred
Yeah.
Acumen. Hot 92 Atlanta.
Wish I would have thought of it before.
So make it really interesting, and also some great cheats of how you can kind of, without feeling hugely creative, steal some other people's ideas.
Yeah, okay, so that's a good thing. All right, so we're already not efforting and we're stealing.
Right.
Okay, that's very good. Well, why wouldn't I just listen to someone who is successful and do what they do, much as I've based my career?
Maybe that's one of the tips.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Well, listen, I've based my career on Steve Sweeney. All these are just jokes that have already been done. All right, here we go.
So our first topic for discussion is actually something that's been around for ages, and something you probably think doesn't sound very interesting, but actually can be, is the news.
I'm going to write these down. We should be talking about the news.
Okay.
But he's already suggesting that we're doing topics.
Well, he's saying if you've got this equipment now, you just turn up the fader, and instead of just going, bleh, you say, oh, news.
Yeah.
No, but is he talking about what part of the news? The obituaries? Am I to read them? Marmaduke is in the news. Am I to read Marmaduke?
If it's in the newspaper and it's new, then yes, by definition, that is news.
Okay, because I guarantee you he's slobbering all over someone. That's not going to get redundant. All right.
You want to read the funnies?
I mean, this family is a circus. I'm just letting you know. The grandmother is a ghost. You can tell because it's just an outline.
Maybe James just listened to that 4 months of the David Lee Roth show and wrote down all the things that he did.
Yeah, I mean, I could.
Remember DLR, though, the one day he said, today we're going to talk about the war.
No, I never got to hear it.
Never heard that one.
Today we're going to talk. This is another one. We're going to talk about abortion.
Yeah, I did. I have heard that. Okay, guys, downtown Boston housing prices have stagnated. What's that mean? What's that mean for the city?
Well, I mean, obviously, that is a price issue in the news.
Is that going to hurt Mayor Wu's reelection campaign?
Good, John.
See?
Good. See? John's paying attention.
Well, that's third rail stuff. I don't really want to
we're
get
not
into
going?
that.
Okay.
No, I don't. I mean, you know what his problem is? Sensationalism.
Right.
Now, everyone wants to listen to the news because it is just that, it's news.
And that's me. All I want to do is listen to the news. I love it.
It means you're never going to be short on supply of information and things to talk about because there's new news every single day. That's why it's called the news, right? But it doesn't necessarily have to be boring. And I'm not saying you need to turn into a news reporter to be able to discuss what is going on right now. It could be celebrity news, it can be entertainment news, it could be news about what's happening in a local area, or it could even be satire news. But ultimately, think about the news as something that's an infinite and really fresh source of information, of areas of topic of discussion that you might want to go into as a presenter.
All right, vehicular homicide, go. Satirize it.
Well, didn't you read the article on Felger this morning? That's where you get into trouble. You don't do that.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't say anything about getting in trouble. All right. Here we go.
Okay, so there's news. That's number one. All right.
Okay.
Number one we got. He's got 5 tips here for us.
All right.
What's number 2?
Next up,
I almost don't want to give this information out because people could start competing.
Next up, I wanted to talk about music. Now, pretty much every radio station plays music, unless perhaps you're on talk radio. We know that, right?
This guy he's got knowledge beyond anything. Talk radio does not play as much music as music radio.
Right.
You would think by the name music radio, that would be a little confusing.
Well, pretty much every music radio station plays music, unless you're on talk radio, and that's not music radio.
Well, what talk radio is, interestingly enough, is talking.
Right.
You might not know that from the names.
Yes.
They're a little precious.
But so many radio presenters, so many radio hosts don't really bother talking about the music they're playing. Sure, like I said earlier, you might get that was this song, and this is that song. But they never really share their opinions on the song. So it's never like, I really like that because of XYZ.
Again with being foreign.
Boy.
Yeah, XYZ. Okay, it can't just be Z with you, commie. Yeah, for instance, that was Lizzo. She's fat. Discuss. Big fat song.
This is
something that you know about. This is I love it. Ugly. Describe them. Describe them physically.
This is 311. Cultural appropriators.
Yes, they're from Nebraska, but they talk in a patois. Let's have a day where we play music based on breast size, smallest to biggest.
But it doesn't necessarily have to be boring.
No, it doesn't have to be. It just should be.
So think about what your listeners are actually tuning in for. Yes, they're tuning in to listen to music, but they're not just tuning in to listen to music. They're also tuning in to listen to you, which is really crucial. So think about how you, the host, the personality, can link in with that music, and how can you tell stories with that music.
Okay.
He goes on to say that you could also put together playlists of like Christmas songs. And he said later on in this that Spotify is really good at that. They'll put together playlists. I'm thinking to myself, okay, but the whole point of that is that nobody's talking about it.
Right. Or AI's talking about it.
Right. Don't mention that, James.
So next up is TV and films. TV and films is something that we're all passionate about. Pretty much everyone watches the TV these days. Everyone watches movies.
Everyone is watching TV these days. He's absolutely correct.
People
it's
are
never
just
been hotter.
Glued to the boob tube.
No, it's never been hotter. I mean, I got to tell you, ever since Single Parents went off the air, I was a little skeptical that anything could touch American Housewife. But here we are. Everyone's watching TV. Yes. Webster. Is his dad really coming back, or is he going to fail him again?
And everyone uses the streaming websites. And everyone talks about them. You constantly, if you're down a bar or in a restaurant with your friends or down the pub.
Yeah, if you're smoking crack on a corner, if you're trying to get a prostitute. I mean, you can't stop talking about The Sopranos.
What are you talking about? The latest Netflix documentary, or you're talking about a box set that you've binge watched. So you can easily take this content and translate it into on-air content, and it's really simple to do. Think about maybe talking about a top 10 Netflix series to binge watch right now, or it could be best Christmas films of all time if you want to do something seasonal. It could be, here is our favorite guilty pleasure chick flicks and rom-com.
Yeah. Best Christmas film? Yeah? Go ahead.
How about... I would say Die Hard, but you want to talk about a third rail.
Mine, damn it.
Oh, boy. See, I was thinking Platoon. But that's because I do believe the Vietnam War, at one point it was Christmas during that. All right, and he continues.
Okay, number 4 is the internet and social media. Now, the internet and social media is one of these things that we didn't have the luxury of as radio presenters, sort of even 15.
Oh, what a luxury social media has been. Oh, thank God. I mean, talk about kicking back. Where were we before social media on the radio? When people can reach right out to you and tell you how psychopaths can tell you how they feel. Oh, thank God. Oh, the luxury. We're just basking in luxury with social media. It's so much fun. There's so much. The Boom guys, everybody. Tony P in D.C. He's got a new fit.
Years ago, it really hadn't taken off to a level where you can really detect what's going on in real time right now. But it is so important that you're connected.
Yeah, a lot of racism. That's what's going on. What's going on apparently is people hating me.
Going on in real time right now. But it is so important that you're connected to this as a radio host. And of course, there's going to be, just like the other things I mentioned, almost an infinite amount of topics and discussion material that you can easily access. You know, just go on sites like Reddit, go on sites like BuzzFeed. Even using Twitter and looking at what is currently trending can be a fantastic source of discussion.
All right, let's see what's on Reddit right now.
If you just go to, does Reddit have a homepage?
Oh, it absolutely does.
Sure.
We could talk about the tsunami. We could talk about Trump on Virginia Geoffrey. We could talk about a lot of stuff. I mean,
here's something on Reddit. I'm 6 foot, 220 pounds, and have to go number 2. And there's a photo of a bathroom. Let's talk about that.
Oh, there's someone whose friend's homeless and living in a tent with 7 kids. Your thoughts? Huh?
617. 779.
Arkansas cop blocks pet emergency and dog dies while owner begs for mercy. This is sickening. Your thoughts? These are on the front page of Reddit.
And actually, you can use people's comments and people's engagement and people's discussion that's going on online to really evoke that discussion and evoke those talking points with your listeners and your audience as a radio host.
Well, we saved the best one for the last year, Fred. I think this is the most applicable to us, and this is where we all need to listen up.
Okay, so my final topic of conversation for your show really is sports. Now, everyone's huge sports fans, right?
Yes. Yes. Of course.
Absolutely.
I mean, just look at the WNBA.
We're all huge sports fans.
I mean, it's omnipresent.
And it's so easy to talk about sports.
Is it there, stupid?
Yeah.
What do you know?
Stuck the landing there.
You
Nice
say
job.
Z instead of Z. Good luck.
Yeah.
I really like that because of XYZ.
Boo.
And it's so easy to talk about sports, talking about what sports are just happening. And again, it's one of these things, it's a bit like the news. There's always going to be conversation around the topic of sports. Sometimes it's controversial. Sometimes it's just a case of here are the results.
Yeah, just John, make with the scores.
Yeah.
This guy's got a lot of information.
Sometimes it's a case of what has this guy said or what has this person done? But there's always going to be things to talk about in terms of sports. Can you believe that last result? I thought they were going to do much better than they did, or they completely thrashed them. You know, whatever it might be, there's always topics to talk about there.
There is a bit of Spinal Tap in that. You know, did they completely thrash them, or did they lose?
Right.
Or was it a tie? You know, there's 3 angles there.
It's kind of like the whole, I could work in a chapeau shop. No, I'm sorry, we're out of that. Would you like it in brown?
Did you see the score went to 11?
Here are the results.
All right. And he says results instead of, I mean, listen, good luck.
So there we have it.
Certainly not in the 50 good places to live, these glorious states. Is that going to go over with your Z in results instead of scores? All right. Well, that made the internet. Someone made that.
13-minute video.
Oh, Jesus Christ. You know, talk about things. Try it out.
This is that song.
All right. The MLB trade deadline, speaking of
that was this song.
is coming up.
But it doesn't necessarily have to be boring.
No, it doesn't have to be boring. It's better if it is.
Here is our favorite guilty pleasure chick flicks and rom-com.
Absolutely. That is our... Why are you so guilty about it?
It's so easy to talk about sports.
This guy is so closeted. He's so guilty about what he likes. I just wish he would be more vocal. All right.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about you, sir. That you say they're guilty pleasures. Why do I have to feel guilty? Just because I want to watch a romantic comedy.
What has this guy said?
What, I'm supposed to tie a noose every time I want to watch Sleepless in Seattle?
Can you believe that last result?
I mean, how many times have you had to stop yourself from slashing your wrists because you watch Freaky Friday?
So there we have it.
The guilt of not being able to get out of bed. All right. When we come back, the MLB trade deadline is coming up. We will discuss with someone who knows very much about it in just a moment. Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy. Tomorrow is the Major League Baseball trade deadline, and there is some clarity has come out over the course of the weekend about teams that were maybe bubble teams that could now be dealing. There was a trade during a doubleheader, have you seen? There was a pitcher that had the crossover. Tim Britton is a senior writer at The Athletic. He covers the Mets in Major League Baseball. He's kind enough to join us. Hello, Tim. Thank you for joining us.
How you guys doing?
We are doing well. And as we look at this trade deadline, in your opinion, how many teams, if you had to like approximate, how many teams are definitely like worth selling? Like we're in a position where we're out of it, we're going to sell. Like how many teams are open for business?
Yeah, I mean, you've got probably like the bottom 10 in the league. I think, like you were mentioning, basically, it's the bubble teams in the middle. Like the Diamondbacks are selling. We've seen them start that process with Josh Naylor last week. But in, Eugenio Suarez and Zach Gallen and Merrill Kelly, they've got three of the most valuable rental assets on the market. And so one of the reasons we haven't seen movement yet is teams are really, because there are so few sellers, there's so few pieces out there, and so few rental pieces in particular, that the teams that have those guys are really holding high prices for them. And that, like the Twins are another team that, they're going to trade Willie Castro, a guy who's a utility player who is going to be a free agent at the end of the season. But the question is, do they trade from their bullpen, which is a real strength of theirs, where guys are controlled beyond this year, like Juan Duran and Griffin Jacks. So it's still those couple of teams in the middle. Tampa Bay is one of them. How aggressively does Texas buy now that it's playing really well in the American League wildcard picture? That kind of is framing what's going to happen over these next, 33 hours or so?
Yeah, and it's going to be really interesting. And if you're a team that is like Pittsburgh or Colorado, are you willing to give up someone with term who's a possible star if there's a big enough return for that player? Or are even these teams that are struggling and not the biggest markets, are they not willing to give up guys with term? Is that generally what the consensus is?
Well, I think one of the things about the worst teams the last couple of years is they don't have kind of your traditional trade deadline pieces. They're not good enough. They don't have enough good players to deal that the teams are really interested in. Colorado is finally starting to deal players who have a few more years left. They traded Ryan McMahon to the Yankees. He had 2 more years left. And their bullpen is pretty good. Most of those guys have 4 or 5 years of control left. And I think they're open to dealing, maybe one of them. But probably not a whole lot from that group. The Pirates are fascinating because they're basically thinking about trading their most expensive players, who are their best players, basically, outside of Paul Skeens. It's Brian Reynolds or Mitch Keller is the name we've heard mostly, a guy who's got 3 years and about $54 million left on his contract after this season, which is actually a pretty good price for a pitcher of his quality. So, that will suppress the return a little bit for him, that you have to pay him that much after. But is still a guy who can slide into, maybe your number 3 starter, a guy who's going to start a postseason game, which there are not many of on this market.
Yeah. So how does Pittsburgh, they have a major league, they have a nice park. They have a history as a franchise. How do they justify to their fan base trading Keller, who they could have for the next couple seasons? You would think they're looking to compete at some time. How do you sell that to your fan base that we're giving up someone who's had success for us that we control at a reasonable rate for the near future, and we're getting future assets that won't develop, maybe even when the guy that any of you care about, Skeens, is still on this team? That's a tightrope that's very difficult to walk.
You would think they'd be aiming to compete at some point, especially with Skeens, right? I think their justification would be, that their starting rotation is their strength. They've got Skeens, they've got Jared Jones, who should be coming back from an injury next season as a really good young starter. They've got another one in the minors, and Bubba Chandler, who's coming up soon, that they think, okay, our rotation is going to be good enough without Keller, and if we trade Keller, we can get prospects who can help an offense that has perennially been among the league's worst the last 2 years. And then we can use the money that we were going to pay him in order to pay someone else this offseason to help our offense. That's a team that's operating on a very small budget that has not budged for a while, hasn't budged really in 10 years. So that's the reason that they would even consider making that kind of move with Keller, or, they've gotten David Bednar, a good reliever who's got control for another year. And that's one of the reasons they're thinking of trading him too, is let's infuse some offense and try to take advantage of Skeen's prime years here before he becomes expensive, and we're having this conversation about him in a few years.
When the Red Sox made their trade involving Rafael Devers to San Francisco, their pushback on all the criticism they got was, well, it makes us more flexible. We can go out and use this money to acquire more talent. What is your intel telling you about what they're going to do in the next day or so?
Well, I think the reinvestment of whatever money they saved on Devers is more for the offseason, but I do think the Red Sox, at that time, it was going to be, you didn't know for sure they were going to be buyers. You probably thought, okay, this team that might be trading Aroldis Chapman and Lucas Giolito and who knows, maybe even Alex Bregman if the right offer comes along between now and July 31st. But because of the way they've played in that time since, because of the way the American League playoff picture looks like, that's a team that I would expect to add a starting pitcher, a team that should probably add at first base, even though Toro and Gonzalez have done a reasonable job in a platoon there, and maybe add to the bullpen as well. The injury to Mayer changes, whether they might trade Jarren Duran or something at the deadline. That was always going to be like a weird needle to try to thread. So I don't expect that to happen in the next day or so. Something probably safe for the off season. But I do think, the way they've played puts Craig Breslow, who has been a relatively aggressive executive since he's been there in trading prospects. He's traded some good ones, to do that again, to try to make this team better in an American League that really doesn't have a favorite, especially now as Detroit has fallen back to the pack again.
And, you mentioned this a couple of days ago, Tim, because the Sox were in a similar position a couple of years ago, and used that threading a needle analogy for, well, you said it was threading a needle for like a pair of Costco khakis. Like, what were you doing? And I think it was for the trade of Kike Hernandez.
No.
Who did they get back?
Does it matter?
Yeah, Tim, who'd they get back?
Luis Urias.
Urias, yeah.
Urias,
Oh,
yeah.
of course, him, right.
So that's what I fear. Like, they'll make a trade, they'll do something, but it's like you're threading a needle to what end? What are you trying to accomplish? It's like that's what I think could happen. They might make a trade just to make a trade to say they did something that really accomplishes nothing.
Yeah, I mean that is, I think, the fear that some front offices have is there's just not going to be players available at a reasonable price point. If you want a good starting pitcher, a guy who can start a playoff game for you, the Twins are probably not going to be trading Joe Ryan. What do you give up for Sandy Alcantara in Miami, the guy who's got a 6+ ERA season, but the Marlins are treating, as they should, like a guy who won the Cy Young not too long ago. What do you want to give up for Keller, and how much are the Pirates going to ask for him? Like, you could imagine them getting stuck in a situation where there's just no pitcher that they view as enough of an upgrade to justify the prospect cost.
Right.
I think a couple of years ago they were trying to get. They didn't get under the luxury tax threshold in a way they could have. I remember, covering the Mets thinking that, man, this is a team that should be trading a few other pieces off its major league roster to at least accomplish something, and they didn't. I would expect Breslow to be more aggressive than Chaim Bloom was that year. The team is in a little bit better spot now as well, but it really is at the mercy of a market that is very much in the seller's corner at this point in time still.
All right, you mentioned the Tigers, and last year the Tigers traded Flaherty and a couple other players. There was rumors of them trading Skubal there, but they did make trades. They sort of sold. They did sell at the deadline, and then they ended up making the playoffs and winning a playoff game. Does that example give GMs kind of an out if they don't get aggressive at the deadline? Well, look at last year. There were teams that sold, and they still, made some noise in the playoffs.
I am. You're absolutely right. There's going to be at least one, if not several more, general managers who mentioned that example on Thursday. Whether it's after not doing very much, whether it's after actually trading players away. You can imagine someone saying after they get rid of three of their rental pieces, we still really like our team. We know we saw what Detroit did last year. We think there's still an opportunity in front of us. So I think, when you look through the history, there's always a team that you say, well, they did it. It's the 2021 Braves have their playoff odds this week of the season were down in the single digits, and they ended up winning the World Series. So there's always a team that you can look at and say, we can still be that one example in recent history rather than, the other 90% of teams in that bucket.
Who's going to be the most aggressive at the deadline? What team do you think? Will it be a small market team that's getting rentals, or will it be a team like Toronto? Who's going to be the most aggressive?
I think the race in the NL East here between the Mets and the Phillies could spark some aggressiveness, especially on Philadelphia's side. They've got some pretty good prospects that Dave Dombrowski has never shied away from moving in big moves. You guys know that in Boston. So that's a team that has some pretty obvious spots where it needs to upgrade in the bullpen and the outfield. So I'd expect them to be aggressive. And the Mets they've cast a wide net in trying to improve. And I'm not sure which direction that aggression is going to take them, if it's going to actually land on something that David Stearns finds worthwhile. But he's certainly been more aggressive in what he's looking to do this year than he was last year with New York.
All right. Well, it should be exciting. And is this going to be like a wire situation, or do you expect some things happening today?
I think we'll start to see it move tonight. One of the interesting things about the deadline this year is there's only 3 games tomorrow. So you got 24 other front offices that have the entire day to think about what they want to do. And I think last year we saw 30-something trades the day of the deadline. So it would not surprise me if we're up there again by 6 o'clock tomorrow.
All right. Well, there'll be certainly something to complain about for everyone. All right, Tim Britton, read him in The Athletic. We appreciate you coming on very much, man. Thank you so much.
Oh, anytime. Thanks for having me.
All right, there you go. Yes, a lot of that was we've been through the first thing opening up. Money's not the issue at the deadline.
The asking prices. He brought up Sandy Alcantara, who's been fantastic for the Marlins until this year. I was reading this morning the asking price for Alcantara is two prime prospects plus.
Right.
For that guy who has an ERA of over 6. So if you're going to ask that for him. Mitch Keller in Pittsburgh's actually having a decent year and he has term. I don't see the Red Sox spending that much. I don't.
Would you want them to?
No. My opinion on the deadline has changed dramatically in the last week. You can't spend 5 prospects on a number 3 starter. You can't do that. Now, if you're going to tell me that someone's going to trade you someone to slot in right behind Garrett Crochet, then I'd think about it. Mitch Keller's not that guy.
Right. And
Joe Ryan is that guy.
Right.
If Minnesota were to come back around and say, we'll offer you Joe Ryan, but we want your 3 best prospects, I'd consider that. I absolutely would consider that.
Right, because he would be your number 2 starter into the future.
Yes. I mean, if you really want to compete in the playoffs, like, for instance, Texas has DeGrom, who's had a great year, and Nathan Eovaldi, who's also had a great year. Those are their top 2 pitchers. I don't know if you want to face that team in the playoffs.
How much term does Joe Ryan have left?
I have to check that. I don't know off the top of my head.
But you would have to give up a lot. You would have to give up a lot.
I would do that for Joe Ryan. I would not do that for Mitch Keller.
Okay. You want to hear what the Red Sox trade would be?
Sure.
This is according to SI.com. One name is just a series of consonants, so it's going to be very difficult for me to read. For Joe Ryan, you would give up outfielder
Joe Stingson.
Very good. Garcia.
Yes.
James Tibbs III and Luis Perales.
I'd do that in a second.
Okay.
Do that in a second.
And they're saying that Garcia might be the best overall prospect mentioned in any of the deals that they have on the table for these big people.
He is a top 50 prospect in the majors, this kid, apparently.
And Tibbs is the Red Sox number 5 prospect, and Perales or whatever the hell his name is.
Perales, he's a pitcher. Tibbs is the guy they just got.
Okay, is the number 9 prospect in their system.
Yeah.
Oh, Tibbs, who's who they got from whom?
They got him from San Francisco.
Oh, he was the kid with the high floor, low ceiling?
Yes, he was the number 14 overall pick last year.
Oh, you can't get rid of him.
No.
All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
Sports Hub headlines presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Red Sox beat the Twins in Minnesota last night 8-5. Trevor Story, a 2-run homer and 3 RBIs. Lucas Giolito, 6 strong innings for the win. 2 teams closed down their 3-game series today. Patriots held a second consecutive padded practice yesterday in Foxborough. Training camp is continuing. Christian Gonzalez seen on the field but did not practice. He hurt himself on Monday. Mass Live and Fox Sports both report it's a hamstring problem for Gonzalez. It's not believed to be serious that he would be back out there at 10:15 this morning. And holdout NFL sack leader Trey Hendrickson expected to report to Cincinnati Bengals training camp this morning. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Eastern Massachusetts' leader in drain cleaning and pipelining, Drains by James. Slow drain, clogged drain. You need to contact Drains by James today at drainsbyjames.com. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 9 o'clock.
Stay tuned for more Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Visit the 99 restaurant Monday through Wednesday for their newest big deal meal, the crispy fried twin catch with North Atlantic.
or someone I'm becoming friends with that doesn't know me very well, is just sent me the AI about myself. The AI searched me, and this is the AI about myself. I'm a Detroit-born American radio personality best known for his sports talk morning show in Boston. He launches deeply opinionated, often controversial comedy with a sharp comedic edge. It goes through my career, personal struggles, and public drama.
Yes.
Okay.
Health and voice issues. In 2023, Toucher took time out for vocal cord surgery. That's not correct. I didn't have surgery. I was supposed to have surgery, but then with monitoring,
scared.
I did not have. Yeah, I got chicken. I made it all up. And later entered a detox facility for alcohol addiction. I missed 1 day of work for detox. Describing the experience as the worst 5 days of my life until this show started. And then it says
you missed 1 day the second time.
Yeah, the second time.
Yeah.
But the first time wasn't a detox facility. I had already detoxed. So let's get all right. So here's the summary, and then it goes through the career, which is fairly accurate. Fred Toucher is a fearless voice in Boston sports radio, but there's a term in here that I think is kind of funny. Sports radio, equally known for its blunt perspective, ongoing struggles. This is great for people that I'm getting to know. Ongoing struggles. And ability to stay compellingly relevant. Few hosts manage to balance longevity, strong ratings, and continual reinvention despite turmoil.
Oh, God. This is an AI search that brought this up?
Yeah.
This is going to do wonders for you. Man.
Well,
boy.
Sometimes that's not the worst thing in the world, John.
It depends, I guess, but all right.
No, that doesn't. Sometimes that's a little bit of a
when you put
a positive.
ongoing next to struggles, that tends to be a problem.
It's not ideal.
No.
If you're into candid commentary and no holds barred takes, he's someone who delivers constantly hyphen and unapologetically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is interesting. There are inaccuracies in that I have to text back. Okay. Very good. This AI thing, I ask everyone now if AI is going to take their job. Do you do that as well?
I think about jobs that my kids are thinking about doing, and I think about the AI implications of those more so than anything.
Because if they're getting into coding, that is
well, my son wants to do data entry, and I told him
will you tell him to ground himself a little bit?
Jesus.
No, he doesn't.
What does he think? He's Einstein? No. Slow your roll, kid.
He doesn't want to do data entry. I was just saying the most AI.
Well, data entry, and also apparently, like, if you're a CPA, that is something that in the near future could become something that becomes fairly irrelevant. Is that if it's just a matter of people I'm sure if you're working with businesses or people that have more intricate, like, tax situations, that's one thing. But I guess you will have the ability that AI can just do taxes. Like, that will be something that they can just do. You tell them what state you're in, how much you made, give them your information, and AI will spit it out in like a second.
Yeah.
Because before I sleep in the afternoon, the only thing I use my iPad for is that I will go on YouTube to listen to ASMR. And the only reason I bring that up is to really give that community some love. No, the only reason I bring that up is that because I'm a white 50-year-old male, the things that come up on the screen, they want you to click it. So they'll be like, former Nobel Prize winner speaks of the world's going to end because of AI.
Right.
And then you're going to click on it. Now, you might not watch the whole thing. And certainly I have bought a lot of insurance based on the commercials that play before it. And it doesn't just fill me with rage and make sure that I would never, ever, 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 ever have anything to do with that product in the history of my life, despite the emu. And like, so the problem with the YouTube, and this is the best thing I heard about AI is this, and I won't tell you the source because everyone will get mad.
Okay.
But is that at a certain point in the near future, you know how everyone's like an influencer now and everyone gets all their entertainment on like Instagram and YouTube and stuff? everything's in, like people like play with themselves to pictures on there and everything. Pretty soon, everything's going to be BS. It's just going to be fake. Like, so when you go onto something, it's fake. Like, there's such an ability to manipulate things online that no one, this isn't the news. This isn't political. This is just what you're watching is not real. It is a computer generated speaking. It's not something that really happened. So in this person's theory, it will get back to, we're not doing this on Zoom. I got to be in the room with you. We're not meeting online. I need to see you in person. I will only date people that I meet out in public. I'm not believing anything. And so in this person's opinion, it could crush like YouTube and crush like Instagram, because if it all becomes BS and it all becomes AI and it all becomes fake, you are going to want tangible stuff. You're going to like want to see it, feel it, and hear it in person, which I thought was a optimistic view of it. So in this person's opinion, it's almost going to like retrograde things, not jobs, but in terms of the way people consume media, it's almost going to get back into I don't believe, if you don't believe anything and it can all be manipulated,
right?
Then what's the point of looking at it?
Right.
If it's just all manipulated,
you'll
and
go
fake.
back to like tangible, like in person, just the things that you can see in front of you and touch and feel, and
absolutely. So there you go. All right, we'll be back. I thought that was interesting, though. We'll be back. The WNBA is having some issues now. I don't think they're big deals, but I'm sure the WNBA will make a big deal out of both of them, because they make a big deal of Caitlin Clark being popular. They hate it. I have this conversation in my personal life all the time with people. The WNBA is the worst mismanaged, the worst marketed league in the history of the world. They've been given a gift of this superstar that transcended the sport in a way that I can't think of anyone else in my lifetime transcending a sport. Like completely taking something that no one cared about it and making it relevant. One person, and they tell you, well, don't like that person, like everyone else. And who cares? People are consuming the product. But people would die for something like that to happen, but they don't like that. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
More Toucher and
Etienne, that was it never lulled, where we would say a prize for who could get the most famous. I don't think we made it up by any means, but it was who could get the most famous person on the line, like within an hour or within the course of the show. And we had several members of the Funky Bunch that were not Mark Wahlberg. They were cool too. They were nice. All right, if you want to watch us on YouTube, simply subscribe to 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube. We're live every morning. They have videos from Alex Barth that do very well. All the shows, Joe's Live at Night. And the WNBA was something that I guess if you had a daughter that was playing basketball, you would take them or you would go, hey, there's a pro league. It's something to strive for, all of this stuff. But it was basically just something that the NBA had under its umbrella. Then this Caitlin Clark comes out of Iowa and captures the nation's attention. Now, I can't think in my lifetime of a sport that no one cared at all about, because you can't go Tiger Woods in golf because people cared about golf, like there were golf fans. The WNBA was fanless. No one cared. It was something that was almost charitable that the NBA was doing it in that. I think part of the package, if you bought the NBA, was you had to carry WNBA games. People certainly weren't doing it voluntarily. So then you get Caitlin Clark, and she transcends. She's a huge international superstar, and not for women's sports, for sports. Caitlin Clark is top 5 most famous athletes in the country, certainly in the country right now, certainly. If you put a picture of different athletes up and had someone on the street identify them, she might even get it to top 3 most famous athletes. But the WNBA, here's why they annoy me so much. Even the commissioner is like, I don't want to talk about Caitlin. Like, let's talk about the other players. Why aren't you talking about the other players? Who cares what anyone's talking about? It's your league. If someone's so what? You have a superstar? This should be ignored. You know, Jordan did a thing or two for the NBA. Or how about this? When Magic Johnson and Larry Bird were in college and they played in that NCAA final, it was by millions and millions of people, the highest rated NCAA final of all time. They got into the NBA. John, how did they show NBA finals games before their arrival?
On tape delay.
On tape delay. They didn't even show them live. So these two guys, they didn't go, oh, wait a second, Cedric Maxwell's in the league. Like, pay attention to Cedric Maxwell. No, they said, Magic and Bird. Yeah. Jordan captivates the nation, unlike any basketball player in the history of basketball.
When Magic and Bird played, Sunday afternoons were for the Celtics and the Lakers. The Celtics would be on at 1, the Lakers would be on at 4.
And God help you if they played together. I mean, I thought Tommy Heinsohn was a national broadcaster.
Super Bowl Sunday. They would have Bird play Magic in the afternoon and then the Super Bowl at night.
The WNBA is slow playing this. They don't want to elevate one person. They want to elevate the league. Every person, every team.
Well, what did I say about the Felger article about him in the Globe, the editorial about him being like the most influential person in Boston? What did I say about the article that was the thing I liked about it?
I don't know. I wasn't
listening. It raises all boats.
Yes, as long as it's someone on the radio, that raises it for everybody.
Another perfect example of the WNBA falling flat on its face. You remember the Olympics last summer? Last summer, they did not add Caitlin Clark to the Olympic team.
Right.
It's just standing on, okay, well, she didn't earn it. It doesn't matter. If you want to draw attention to women's basketball in the Olympics, a global event, you have her there and sit her on the bench, for God's sake.
I would not be surprised to learn that at like the highest levels, they have been like executive meetings where they have made a conscious decision to say, no, we are not elevating one player above another. We're not making this about superstars. We're making this about the sport and the league and
Welcome
the
to
teams.
mediocrity.
Like that's how we're going to do this. We're not going to single anyone out.
Which is the way products are generally successfully marketed.
Like any sport, you look at any other sport. It's why the NHL has suffered for years, because there hasn't been that one guy, with the exception of, you go back to Gretzky and Crosby. And every once in a while, you'll get somebody who kind of elevates and kind of breaks through, but that they have difficulty identifying that one person and using that person to showcase what the entire sport is about.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you know, I saw the movie F1, and I'm like, yeah, sure, Brad Pitt's in it, but I want to know about Tobias Menzies.
Yeah.
Like, why is he not on the poster? It's just Brad Pitt sitting there. And Tobias Menzies is in the background saying, excuse me, anybody home? I'm Tobias Menzies, and I'm in this movie just like Brad Pitt is. I mean, imagine marketing a star. It's insane, marketing a star. There are a lot of people doing stuff. I mean, look at the Celtics. I mean, you know, the guy that Jordan, what's his face on the bench? What's the guy's name?
Sam Hauser.
No, the guy they drafted that never plays in the first round. Jordan Walsh.
Yes.
His name's close enough to Brandon Walsh. Why aren't you marketing him to the 90210 crowd? It's got the same last name. He's from Minnesota. All right. So anyway, the WNBA has had some interesting things happen that they don't want you making fun of.
Unfortunate incidents. We'll start on Sunday night. It's being called a wardrobe malfunction between the Washington Mystics and the Phoenix Mercury late in the third quarter. This game is taking place in Washington. All-star Kalia Copper. Do I have her first name right there, John?
No idea.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Kalia, you idiots.
Yeah, all right. So
if you weren't so focused on Caitlin
see if
Clark.
you could. If you don't know what already happened, see if you can find out what happens.
And it bounced around a lot, but at the end, it went through the rim.
That's analysis.
Okay.
So that's 2 points. Or 1 if it was a free throw, or 3 if it was behind the three-point line.
Okay.
It went through the cylinder for those of you at home.
Yeah.
This is a television broadcast?
It is.
Oh. And that went through the cylinder. And that will be awarded points.
Maybe it's a combo, and they're calling for the radio also, so they have to include that information that normally you wouldn't hear on a television broadcast.
I think I'd err on the side of TV, but here we go.
And it bounced around a lot, but at the end, it went through the rim. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. She's going to go head to the back. Oh, no.
Stop. Did I just hear a laugh?
You did.
Oh, no. Well,
someone is getting a pink slip very soon.
What happened is that when Copper went around the screen, her wig flew off her head and was laying by the side of the court, and she quickly ran back to get it, and that's when they say she just picked that thing up and immediately went to the locker room.
When the wig comes off, you stand there and laugh, and you put it back on your head.
Right.
That's what you do. You just go, I wear a wig. Agassi. You read the book.
Yes, I did.
He played a U.S. Open, wig falling off his head, and it made him lose the match. He was so worried about the wig falling off his head, he couldn't do it. All of us are wearing wigs, right?
Of some kind.
That's a beard.
It's a merkin.
Oh, well, a merkin would cover everything up.
Oh, no. Timeout called for Copper to deal with the malfunction.
Think about Jamie Lee Curtis in Trading Places when she took off her wig. It was almost a sexual moment.
Well, it was the taking off of the wig and then the taking off of the blouse when she removed her top in that same scene.
You know what taking off that wig meant? She could drop the character of hard-ass prostitute.
That's right.
And become the sensitive, loving woman that she was
She
in
had
real life.
all that money in T-bills, earning interest.
Yeah.
She figures she got 3 more years on her back.
And you know how you knew she was a savvy street kid? She chewed gum.
Yeah, she did.
Oh, yeah.
She was chewing gum.
Yeah.
That's how you know someone's from the streets. It's almost disrespectful the way they chew gum.
You know, she figured out that Lewis was, in fact, who he said he was. Soft hands.
Mm-hmm.
Manicure, too.
There's sneaky, unnecessary nudity in that movie if you're watching it with children. You forget about the party that Eddie Murphy has at the house where there's just naked ladies for no reason.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm ready for you, baby.
And now they have an issue with a fan. As the officials...
A fan was smiling.
As Phoenix's bench had an issue there.
There is something embarrassing happens, and there's a fan enjoying themselves. They have to be removed. They have no tact and no sympathy. This is someone who obviously needs to be removed. The penis isn't helping things either.
And they're having an issue with a fan. They claim that they actually paid for their ticket. And they were talking to everyone around them, found out, wait a second, I'm the only one who had to pay to get in here. What the hell's going on?
A fan spending money. Let's get rid of her or him. I don't know what it was.
No,
Let's causing a ruckus.
Yeah, they caused a ruckus. That when the wig came off, their mouth, like a psychopath, formed into a smile. You lunatic! This isn't a wig.
Someone's wig came off. It's funny.
It's been around since the Marx Brothers. I mean, there's a wig coming off is funny. It's been in. I mean, it's a trope. It's a comedy trope. I mean, it's something that happens all the time.
Having Alyssa Thomas and Nate Tibbetts point out which fan it is, so that security here at Care First Arena can have that dealt with. So the officials are now talking to arena security here. As you can see,
Yeah, the fan made fun of the woman whose wig came off.
Yeah. Now, unless it was the ghost of Don Imus and he said something really inappropriate, I think you should be allowed to say something funny about a wig coming off and not get kicked out of the game.
Well, that doesn't happen in other sports. There's, I mean, that kind of insulting jibber jabber from the crowd.
Right, okay.
I mean, keep it classy like they do at NFL games, especially the ones at night when people have been drinking for 48 hours before them. You'll never hear anything. The fan was laughing and joking about the wig, where they should have been taking it seriously because it's a tragedy. No, it's funny. The announcer laughed. The wig came off. Big deal. Lady wears a wig.
so a fan said something. The Phoenix Mercury bench heard it, and they did not like what was said.
I like that too, tattling.
Right, right.
I like that from my hardcore. I mean, take them seriously. Did you see the the billboard that's up for the WNBA? It's a bunch of WNBA players. I'm not making this up. This is a billboard that's in major cities. It's a bunch of NBA players and it says, "Let them cook."
Oh boy.
Oh no.
Oh boy.
Let them iron.
A friend showed that to me, and I was like, "What's the big deal?" And then I went, "Oh,
that's all right."
So if that wasn't bad enough, I heard that audio. I actually had a friend send that to me, but I heard that audio. Yeah. This happened yesterday?
Last night in College Park, Georgia.
So, this is a WNBA game?
Yes.
In College Park, that is not a nice neighborhood.
The Atlanta Dream play in College Park.
I wonder where that is. College Park is
it's over by the airport, I think.
No, bad neighborhood. College Park's a bad neighborhood.
Okay.
And I'm not like a kind of bad neighborhood. College Park's like where like Outcast and everything's from. Like it's not.
I was reading that
people. There's many songs describing life in College Park and naming College Park directly. I'm not speaking out of school here.
I was reading they played the game in College Park, Georgia. These are the Golden State Valkyries against the Atlanta Dream.
Valkyries. All right, and so this happens.
Hayes gets blocked by Maya Caldwell. Something flies on the court, actually, from the crowd. The officials will say they will continue play as that goes off the fingertips of the Valkyries. And you can see the object, the block right there. And the object comes, that green thing bounces, and it goes to the sideline. We're not exactly we're not sure where it came from.
Oh, the crowd.
Yeah.
It didn't come from outer space.
Came from the adult superstore. That is based on the green color. I believe that's the Hulkster 2000.
Well, they were shooting them out with the gun in between during halftime. What they're referring to is a dildo.
Yeah, neon green.
Yeah, a neon green dildo. Yes. Because if the lights are off, if there's a power outage at night, and you have to pleasure yourself, I mean, you would need something that glows. Not an idiot,
right?
You got to know it's out.
No room for any of that type of activity. Yeah.
What fun the WNBA plays. I like the constant scolding. That's what I want for my entertainment, is to be scolded. Remember when they threw the dildo at the Buffalo game and everyone had a good time about it?
Yeah.
It's a dildo. Like, big deal. I think the WNBA constantly scolding you. You don't like the right player. You don't appreciate it. You laughed at the lady's wig coming off. Everything has to be punished and scolded, it seems. A little bit of entertainment and humor might go a long way. It seems like there's a strict set of guidelines to enjoy this sport. And having fun's not one of them.
No room for any of that type of activity.
Yeah, and no one's picked the object up yet. You guys, oh my gosh, okay. Okay. Inappropriate. Get him out of here, whoever it is.
Yeah, what a fun group. What great improvisation there from the announcers.
That appears to be the Neo Elite 6-inch. Somebody is out at least $28.84 after throwing that thing on the court.
So two big things have happened in the WNBA, and during both of those broadcasts, the person was either told or was being kicked out. So go to an WNBA game, and you applaud accordingly, and you keep that smile off your face, or else 23 skidoo to you. What a fun league. This is exactly what they need. This is entertainment personified. Get him out of here. Get him out of here. You couldn't think of one funny joke about a dildo on the floor? Like, oh, someone must have gone through my purse. Ba-bump bump. Like, I mean, Jesus, something. Something. Like, I didn't know my grandma was at the game. I recognize that. You know, like something fun. You know? But what are you going to do? That's the ET 4000.
But then it's inappropriate, as you heard, Fred.
Yes, and should be admonished. Very good. All right, well, good for the WNBA. And if your wig comes off, big deal. Big deal. Women wear wigs. Who cares? All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
You're listening to
idea for a bit. The email bit. We should do the email bit. It's a great idea. Let's do the email bit.
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy. If you'd like to email us, go to 98.5 The Sports Hub and get our email addresses. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Toucher and Hardy. You can, and Nicholas runs that. And we're giving away a car that I was supposed to tease today. We're giving an F-150 thanks to McGovern Automotive Group. And they brought in Everyday Maggie, who was very nice and was in here yesterday. And Nick, we're giving away a car. It says in the caption of the picture, it's Hardy, Everyday Maggie, and I. And Nick puts in the thing, like, we're giving away an F-150, which is a big deal for radio now, like that we're giving away a car.
The truck?
And people are like, why'd you have Everyday Maggie on? I don't know. Read the thing. We're giving away a truck. You moron. It's right there. Why'd you have her on? Because McGovern Ford's using her to give away this truck. That's what it says.
What difference does it make?
Oh, because why'd you have her on?
Here?
All I'm saying is people are like, why'd you have her on? Well, it says right there why we had her on. We're giving away the truck.
Okay. Yeah. I don't understand the logic, though. You see, you follow me? I don't get it. What difference does it make? Is this going to dampen your enjoyment of winning a truck or entering for it?
We were talking about, how these podcasts have politicians on, and then it ends up putting them into a category I don't believe they want to be in. They're already making money, and now they got to travel around with security because they're part of a national conversation that's that polarizing. No, thank you. And this Mitch says you should have Mayor Wu on to talk about one thing. You guys really should have Mayor Wu on, an interviewer about one topic, how the age difference between Belichick and Jordan is the same as Fred and Wu's infant daughter. That is Mitch from New Bedford. That is true. There's a 50-year age difference between Belichick and I am 50, so a newborn now would be the same. By the way, I have a friend. I told you this, Hardy. I don't know if I told you this, John. I have a friend who saw Belichick and his girlfriend out in Nantucket at a Stop and Shop. Oh. And in fairness, he did photograph them, so this kind of takes some of it out. But he said that Jordan is wearing a Jackie O-esque sunglasses inside of a Stop and Shop. But then in fairness, he did photograph them, so I mean, that kind of ends,
She's popular, doesn't want any pictures, wants to make sure.
Right.
Sure,
but
hide those eyes.
But they shop just like us.
Fred, how dare you say you won't have politicians on? You had a debate years ago for a political contest, I believe in Vermont, with Vermin Supreme, who wore a boot on his head.
Love 22.
Love 22.
He said you forgot the other guy's name, but it is Love 22. Thank you, Jonathan, who is obsessed with the number
22.
Yes, indeed. Everything had to add up to 22 with Love 22.
And he spent a long time explaining that to us that day, I remember.
And he would send us many materials in the mail, 22 times and 22 things, yes.
These were presidential candidates in 2016.
Yeah, we had Vernon Supreme in studio along with Love 22. That was a fun day.
Did Robbie come in for that too? Because he and Vermin used to do a lot of stuff together.
No, Robbie was not in with us, but we had someone from WBZ come in and mediate things.
Oh, we had Keller come in and
John Keller came in to mediate that debate.
Yeah, that was a good bit. That was a good bit. Alex says, all the commercials, promos, and quotes are way louder than host. Been so for a couple days now across the shows. The only positive is I can barely hear Wallach.
Oh.
No.
I just read it because of the insult that you I've read this one already. Go ahead.
Guys, I can't listen to Fred ramble about how he should be the mayor of podcast and content. It's 10 minutes of mocking and 5 minutes of accusing people of having brain issues. I can't listen to nonstop complaining.
Then why are you listening to not just me, but anyone on this station? It's a fair amount of complaining going on every day.
Going on, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't call it whining. Is critical cultural critiquing.
Good.
And almost necessary. And brilliant in its biting.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it cuts a little too close to the bone for this person.
Maybe
that's one of the Nelk boys.
Were you guys
brilliantly had Netanyahu on.
This guy wanted more on Mark Daniels' hammy injury.
Oh, we all did.
He said also Slippery T not being able to guess Radiohead in the Pitchfork Top 150 Albums of the 90s was pretty good radio. A lot of music snobs don't know the Beatles were a big band. Caught the golf show the other morning. It's actually sort of mesmerizing. So compliments all around.
Mesmerizing.
I will tell you this, is that I am very ashamed of myself for not guessing Radiohead. I was thinking 90s, and I associate them, I guess, more with the 2000s, and also I was thinking punk. Like, kind of like punk bands. Like, if there was something, like I figured they'd throw a bone to a punk band. Like, I even thought, like, Fugazi, maybe, like, the 10 Songs or whatever album, I thought maybe that would make it. But maybe, who knows? But maybe that's the 80s.
But the Flaming Lips got in there.
They're horrible. So there you go. That list sucks. Now you got me being negative.
No, we don't want that.
No.
We just had a long complaint about that.
Jonathan
I was
Rich-
nice to Maddie yesterday and to Everyday Maggie, so there.
Some of the other, I really didn't go through this whole list because we were focusing on the top 10. Are you a Jonathan Richman fan?
I appreciate what the Modern Lovers did with their first album. I think that the idea that he's talking about just driving down 95 and the Stop and Shop and everything, I do appreciate Jonathan Richman.
Okay. Beastie Boys Check Your Head, by the way, was number 67. We were just having a Beastie Boys discussion off the air. Cocteau Twins, Heaven or Las Vegas, from 1990.
What song do they sing?
I don't think you would know a Cocteau Twins song.
I do not. I was 15 and not listening to the Cocteau Twins.
Dr. Dre, The Chronic, made it in at number 24.
Yeah, John had guessed that.
Yeah.
Lil Kim, Hardcore, number 36. MF Doom, Operation Doomsday, number 65.
There you go.
That's a fantastic album.
2 Nirvana albums, 9 Inch Nails, Downward Spiral, 1994. And that was a good album. 2 Biggie albums. All right.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, then it just becomes kind of a checklist of iconic 90s people at that point. This is from Aiden, and this is something that I've actually thought about quite a bit. The youth is starting to look at streamers as bigger than movie stars. It's pretty crazy. These guys go live all the time on Twitch or Kick app. I don't even know what Kick is. A girlfriend's kid loves following them over watching any movie. It's nuts. They're making bank, too. That's the brilliance of Adam Sandler putting in, like, influencers into Happy Gilmore, too, because that's exactly why my son wanted to watch it, is because of the promotion it was getting, you know, in that realm. So if you're looking for teenagers, but as I said, as AI starts to infiltrate social media and everything becomes fake, are people going to even trust that as entertainment anymore? Are they not going to care, which is Orwellian, like incredibly Orwellian? Or are people going to go, I don't believe any of this, not like news and stuff, but I don't believe this is a real person or this really happened. This is AI, so I want to see things in person, or I want to like be able to hold, feel, and smell the things that I'm taking in. Understand?
Yes.
Maybe we'll go back to the theater, which has always been a passion of mine. Bring me to the theater, please.
There's also vindication for the Eagle. Somebody included a photo with the 128 road sign.
Yeah, it says 128 next to the 95 road sign.
Yeah. Which I don't know if that's complete vindication. I don't know that John needs to be vindicated. I heard the promo for this, so you guys must have been talking about this on Monday when I wasn't here.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So what is your problem, Fred, that people still say 128?
John tries to get me riled up by saying 128 because it's I-95, and a bunch of people have said it didn't become I-95 until the 90s. And then, so what? And someone said 95 was supposed to run through Boston. Okay, when? In 1920? When did they build the interstate highway system in Massachusetts?
Well, I think it was supposed to continue through Boston, and that's when they did the thing around it, and that's what created the big mess downtown. And if you listen to
the elevator, elevated.
If you listen to that Big Dig podcast,
okay,
they
but
do a pretty good job.
What year did they build 95? The interstate highway system was part of the New Deal.
Yeah, no,
that I know.
Yes,
the New Deal is a long time ago.
Yes,
This is World War II era situation.
Yes.
It's the Roosevelt situation.
75 years ago.
Yes. And so I there was no way in the 90s they went, oh, now it's 95.
It's always been. I don't have the answer to that question.
Of course you don't, stupid.
It's always been.
So your point is good. I don't care what your point is.
Canton to Peabody, damn it. 128
was there first.
Yeah, fine.
And then when they then in the
20s
they brought 95 up and connected it. So they said, "Oh, this 128 is now part of I-95."
No, because everyone in Massachusetts has to be so precious with everything, with
Damn
the
right.
stupid names of towns and the dumb pronunciations of everything.
That's right. And
hanging
Michigan-
on to an accent that no one has.
And in Michigan, there are no strange spellings of towns at all, right? There are no strange spellings.
You brought up the dumbest thing you could.
Oh, everything's straightforward in Michigan?
Hardy, what is the best designed city you've ever been in for driving? And it's not a mystery why.
No, I'd say that for very, very obvious reasons, but it's Detroit.
I'm not talking about driving. You just talked
And
about
the roads are named 13 mile, 12 mile, 11 mile, 10 mile, 9 mile, 8 mile, 7
Yes.
mile, 6 mile. Yes, they have names that make sense. There's the Lodge Freeway. There's 696. There's there's freeways, but the interstate freeways are the interstate freeways.
Okay,
94.
They didn't connect 95 to 128. I don't think until the 60s and 70s.
Oh boy, well I stand
There you
corrected.
go. Shame on you.
No wonder
A
you
lot
still
you
call
know.
it.
You know
no
nothing.
wonder you still call it 128.
You know
old man.
nothing. That's what's obvious from this conversation.
Thomas has got a serious problem, and I blame this maybe on George. Maybe I'll let Nicholas off the hook on this. Podcast. He says that someone's trying to sabotage us. He says that the podcast cut off at the end of the third hour. The Happy Gilmore 2 thing just cuts off in the middle of you guys talking.
Oh.
Is George? Who is responsible for that? George?
Was this yesterday?
Yeah.
I believe so.
So, Nick, you're saying George made the mistake, not you. You want to go on the record as that. George should be admonished for this.
He is saying yes.
Andrew wants to be called Gabe. It's Gabe from West Roxbury, not Aiden. I don't know what the hell you want me to call you. Gabe, sorry. Gabe is a prolific emailer and should be called correctly. Gabe. He has good emails. If you want to email us, you can do that. We do that segment because we're lazy every single day. Every single day we do it. At this time.
We invented the segment.
I'd like.
Some say we're the best at it.
Well, some very smart people have said that. You know, what do I know? I don't know. I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying I won't do it again. And I'm not saying I will.
But I could.
Are you going to pardon the lady?
I have the power to do that.
I have the power to do it. I'm not saying I would. I mean, the news is talking about it.
Everyone seems to be talking about it. They're very interested in it.
All right. We'll be back with the stack and to wrap things up in just a moment.
Sports Hub headlines presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Red Sox hung on for an 8-5 win in Minnesota last night over the Twins. Trevor Story, a homer and 3 RBIs for the Red Sox. Brooks Lee, 2 homers and drove in all 5 runs in a losing effort from Minnesota. The Red Sox will pitch Brian Bayo this afternoon in the finale of this 3-game series. The Major League Baseball trade deadline is tomorrow. The Pittsburgh Post-Gazette is reporting the Red Sox are one of the teams in contact with the Pirates about a possible trade for starting pitcher Mitch Keller. Patriots will hold another padded practice at 10:15 this morning behind Gillette Stadium. It is once again open to the public. Christian Gonzalez missing from yesterday's workout after injuring himself on Monday. Mass Live and Fox Sports are both reporting it's a hamstring problem for Gonzalez, and it is not believed to be serious. And holdout NFL sack leader Trey Hendrickson expected to report to Cincinnati Bengals training camp today without a new contract. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Veterinary Urgent Care Center. With 8 locations in Massachusetts and Rhode Island, VUCC offers compassionate, convenient, high-quality care 7 days a week. Walk in or book an appointment at veturgentcare.com. Veterinary Urgent Care Center, urgent care for your pet's urgent needs. I'm John Wallach. I'm Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 10 o'clock.
This is the show for you. Toucher and Hardy, the Sports Hub.
We know what you're thinking. What could I possibly have missed from the show?
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy as we take this vagabond train to its final place.
Stay with me on this. This is from an email that Shane sent. He said, loving the show, and I see from the article that Gary Tanguay now has some competition. More erotic fiction. The author's name is Madison Murray, and she is best known for a collection of poems, essays, illustrations, the title of which I read was too risky to print. And I said, oh, we can say it. We can't say it either, Fred. I want to show you the title of the book.
Yeah, you can't say that.
You can't say that.
I mean, I guess you could, but probably better not.
Right.
Because it's not technically a thing, yeah.
No, but it is called...
It says gaping.
Yeah. A deep and raw look into the North Shore of Massachusetts. But it is a collection of erotic fiction, some of which mentioned Market Basket. And in order to promote her book, Madison Murray started selling merch using the More for Your Dollar slogan with, I believe, again, scratched out, but I think it was whore for your dollar.
Yeah, I'm looking at the article. That's
okay,
right. Yeah.
so Market Basket issued a cease and desist. She also showed up for a reading at the Salem Market Basket in the parking lot. 2 people showed up. The cop showed up and told her she was trespassing.
Yeah, the dollar store was very bad with the arm in the fall. We had a big problem with the dollar store.
But Madison Murray needs some more investigation. She is an OnlyFans manager and creator, longtime advocate for sex workers' rights, and her book is a collection of silly, parody-esque thoughts and feelings about where she's from. Erotic fiction about a fisherman's wife, pictures of a 3-way roast beef sandwich tactically collaged over other body parts.
Okay.
Yeah.
No. Burlesque parody poems.
Ugly broad.
Inspired by North Shore historical figures, including a body take on Salem witch trials victim Giles Corey's famous last words, more weight.
Yeah, plumpers. BBWs. Right. That's an untapped genre. Tip of the cap. Yeah? Anything missing in her books like the arm in mine?
I don't know, but Market Basket was not amused by any of this. They have other things to worry about right now, but still.
Yeah, Market Basket's something that's on the news a lot.
It's on the news.
And then it's just like, I don't know. I've never been in a Market Basket in my life. I don't know what's going on, but it's just on the news. Hardy and I see it on TV every morning because we look at the same TV.
I was in a Market Basket once. I have nothing against it. They're just not near me.
Oh, no. My whole thing about this is not. I don't have anything for or against. I have absolutely no knowledge. They're just on the news all the time. I have no idea why, but they're consistently on the news.
Do you know the whole thing? It's like a family-owned thing, and there's issues at the top of the management structure. Some are siding with workers, others siding with the other owners. Does anyone have like a handle on it? Do you know,
seems
John?
like a lot of hubbub for something that is of zero interest to anyone.
I think it's like the brother versus the sisters, like succession plan. It's like a family.
All right, here's the deal: Succession. All right. But it's a bang-off. Males.
The place is jammed.
Males,
Hold
right?
on. Okay.
Yeah. How long? No cheating.
That's
right.
That's the whole pitch, Gary?
Elevator pitch.
Okay, all right.
All right, listen. Pro football team, my expertise, okay, correct?
Yes.
Old man dies, kaboom, out of there. 5 sons. They say, how are we going to do this? He's got a crazy will. What's in the will? Who can bang the longest? What do you mean until completion? No. The physical ability to keep going. Twists and turns? Correct. Sabotage? Yeah. Pictures of grandmother on the ceiling to confuse and disrupt? Uh-huh. A lot of gross stuff in order to sabotage the other guys. You see, it's a horror.
Who's the protagonist and who's the antagonist? Who are the two key figures?
Rocky Suarez was a lady that worked as a. She ends up with the whole thing.
She's a cop. What are you talking about?
It's like a 9 to 5. She ends up with the whole thing at the end. It's feminist literature.
Okay, so that's how it ends?
Yeah. These guys all die from banging or whatever the sabotage, and then Rocky Suarez says,
"Wait, they die as a result of having sex for too long?"
No. Foul play. Yeah. There's stuff
Is it a whodunit?
Well, there's razor blades and stuff. There's booby traps. And at the end, Rocky Suarez, at the end of 9 to 5, she ends up taking over the whole thing. It's really family.
Okay.
It's something that's ripped from the pages of Mademoiselle.
Is she the Lily Tomlin, or is she the Jane Fonda, or the Dolly Parton?
All right, she's got the comic wit of a Lily Tomlin, the cans of a Dolly Parton, and the ass of Sally Field, or whatever.
Jane Fonda.
Yeah, whatever, same thing.
Who's your Dabney Coleman?
And the political beliefs of her too. She's very into the opposition. She pisses off a lot of vets. That's Rocky Suarez's albatross.
Is Cush in there in the Dabney Coleman role? Does he?
Well, throw a guy with a mustache in there. I don't care. Selleck, who knows? All right, that'll do it for us. What a way to end the show.
Miles Teller, just get somebody out.
Yeah, anyone that can grow it. You're bothering me with this crap. Find a mustache, dummy. Or you want a guy with a lady name like Dabney? You find some guy named Sue or something. All right, that'll do it for us. Bye.